Jodrey's. Calling all Kevin Jodrey's. You are wanted, and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, 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 ladies and gentlemen, and ladies and gentlemen, ladies. Kevin Jodrey, will he be in the house? Who knows? Anybody can show up on the Guerrero Grow Show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is a brand new episode of the Guerrero Grow Show. This is a gardening community show, a community show that loves to garden, loves to grow as individuals, spiritually, mentally, physically. We're growing every day as a community. That being said, I am your host, Chris Guerrero, and these are the breaks. We're hoping to entice Kevin Jodrey to come join us today. We're hoping that he'll come join us. But if we don't get Kevin Jodrey, we got you guys. You are the special guests. So I'm going to put the link in the chat, and the link. There it is right there. Right here. There it is right there. Live from inside the hurricane. Jesus. There we go. Yeah, you didn't want to see that. Yes, it is windy. Took my morning Fico earlier, went swimming, went and got some dim sum. That way I don't have to go get snacks later on. All right, hold on. We have our first guest. Ladies and gentlemen, coming you all the way from the Connecticut area, or would that be the tri-state area? I have no idea where the tri-state area is. But let's give a warm welcome to Connecticut's own Big John.
Hey, what's up, Chris?
Yep. All right, let me go Let me go on the Instagram. Hold on. There we go. Okay. I gotta go shut the front window. I might be getting the Gary Payton sooner than later. Woo, woo. So there is no bean poppage yet. No bean poppage just yet of the new stuff I planted. Couple beans. They haven't popped yet. Yes, that was the 3 minutes of silence for the ones who can't be here. Oh, let's go back to. Oh, present. Oh, not present. Share. All right. I'm inviting them. All right, let me go over here. I'm going to share this, copy that. There it is. Let's see what he says to that. Oh no, dude. I don't ever clickbait anybody. That's why that's why the question mark was there. The question mark is always, can I get this person on here? And then if I undo the question mark, then that means that they're coming on. So if you see the question mark disappear, that means they're coming on. Okay, so I'm just gonna give you a little clue. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another guest coming to you all the way from Connecticut. It's a Connecticut takeover. Let's give a warm welcome to High in the Hill.
Hi, guys.
Jesus
Morning,
Christ. Oh.
What happened?
Hey, what's up, Joe?
That north wind.
The north wind's coming for you.
I call it Canadian gas. Oh, yes. What? You can't see the you can't see the title of the show with the chat on? What the fuck? Oh. I didn't know that. I got the red lab just in case he comes. The purple red lab. Just in case he comes. And then I got some bubble glue because you knew. I got a bud of Karen's homeboy stuff. What? So yeah. When is this wind gonna stop?
Good question.
I am doing great. I also might have a line on it too. Also, the lemon cherry gelato. So if I get mine first, I will send you one when it gets cloned. All right. Yes.
I'm transing my sheet. Cool. Okay, I gotta mark that somehow.
Sending out the positive energy to everybody. Everybody, I want everybody to say Kevin Jodrey. Kevin Jodrey. If you're not saying it out loud and you can't say it out loud, say it in your mind. Kevin Jodrey. Kevin Jodrey. Kevin Jodrey. All right. All right, the next one. What the fuck is going on with Jesus Christ? What the fuck is it?
What happened?
Holy
Jesus?
shit. What the hell is going on with Rick Simpson?
No idea.
Yeah, I'm worrying.
You have to get something better than that.
Oh shit! It might be because it was using that RSO. Oh man, that fucking sucks, dude. Can't believe we've been fucking talking about that shit and he's been fucking hurt and shit. What the fuck? Nobody knew. Is he in fucking Canada? What the fuck?
Okay. Takes care of that. Moving right along.
Yeah. No shit. So yeah, dude. Let me put it this way. It's not played out if you ain't never had it. How is it played out? Like, okay, the train wreck chirps for me are played out. Then I go like this. I go, Big John, are the train wreck chirps played out for you? We get
Never had
nothing from Big John. We're getting gold bars from Big John. Oh, there he is.
No, it's not played out.
Okay.
Because I
So
didn't.
it's not played out for you.
No, I didn't smoke it a lot.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I didn't over
All right.
smoke it.
Exactly. So let me
I wasn't
ask fucking big.
overexposed.
Now the Joe.
Yeah.
Are train wreck chirps blown out for you? Are they?
I don't have any association with train wreck. I don't even know.
Okay, how about Jack Herrer? Have you ever smoked Jack?
Nope.
Okay. Well, then there it is there. So I'm guessing no. So I have never smoked lemon cherry gelato. The closest I've ever come to it is this right here, the Karen's, this right here. So this right here is the closest, and this is the icy. This is the lemon cherry icy, and that's a lemon cherry gelato into the ice cream cake. So that's the one I have. Now, have I smoked any of Gary Payton? No, I don't think I've ever smoked Gary Payton. So that being said, I wouldn't. Everybody says it's good weed, man. I'm taking it that it's good weed and it's loud. Otherwise, other people wouldn't be saying that it's fucking good weed and it's loud and shit. So that's why I want that, and I would like to grow it this year. Whether it's not like I'm gonna keep it, I don't know. Is it something that you keep in your arsenal? Is it something that I should start having a thing for? I don't know. I don't know. That's what I'm saying is I don't know. I do not know. So that being said, I don't know. Yeah, I haven't had all that stuff. Yeah, you guys know what I've been growing and shit. Yeah, like it's not a secret. So if you've seen that, I haven't fucked with that shit. So yeah. So how would it be played out for me? I'm not fucking getting it to anybody unless I'm like giving it to people. Like here, have a jar. Here, have a jar. You know what I'm saying? I'm not selling it. It's not like I'm slinging it and shit, and then it's being played out. No, man. If it's for you, how the fuck is it played out?
Okay, where's orange? Orange.
And I'm just guessing because I know what people were growing and shit for the last few years. So I'm guessing big time Gary Payton is really played out for Big John. And he's gone. Oh, there he's back. I'm guessing Big John is really played out on Gary Payton, right? You don't want Gary Payton, right? No, he doesn't want. I could tell, and he also looks like in his eyes that he doesn't want lemon cherry gelato either. Look at that. That's a face that says no to Larry cherry gelato because he's had too much of it. Too much of that lemon cherry gelato. Yeah.
Is that what he said?
That's the face of lemon cherry gelato fatigue.
I didn't know you could read faces.
Leaves you speechless.
Yes.
You can't say nothing. You can just stare at the camera like an idiot.
Exactly.
That's all you can do. That's all you can muster.
But not yet. I'll do it right now. Why would I?
I definitely have to smoke something.
Okay, hold on. I'm going on to it. Videos. Oh, there it is.
Oh, Mr. Video.
Dude.
Come on now. There. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't think it's synced yet. All right, I will. All right, I'll try it on here. It's probably synced to this.
Okay.
All right. Jesus. All right. Oh. I don't know what you're talking about, Val Bundy. I have no idea. No idea what you're talking about. No idea. Thank you for the subscription. Thank you for the subscription. Thank you. Oh, yes. And like I said, I like to give a shout out to all the Vietnamese Frenchmen out there growing cannabis in France. Shout out to all the Vietnamese Frenchmen that are growing cannabis in France. Shout out to you. Oh, yeah. Oh, something exciting happened yesterday. My son broke his first board.
Broke a board? Let's hope this is karate.
Yeah, no. Skateboarding.
Oh, skateboarding.
Yes, he broke his first skateboard. I was so proud of him.
He must have been going like hell, I guess, huh?
No. Generally, that just means that you've been skateboarding a lot, or you one too many times, doing one too many tricks and stuff. So he finally broke it. So good on him. I hope there'll be many more to come. Many more skateboards that he'll be breaking. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah, I need to check that. Ooh, boy. Something special's coming in the mail. Something special's coming in the mail. Hi-ho, Mario. 12:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Oh, boy. Oh, I can't wait. Holy shit. Oh, boy. Some snackies. Snackies from Philly. Snackies from Philadelphia. Oh, shit. Man, I got the ashiest legs of all, man. I feel like I don't know, man. This is like the ashiest. Feel like my legs got old, man. Like it went to like is there wrinkled and everything. It's just ugly. It's all bad. It's all bad. All right. So it's what? It's been about 5 minutes now. Been about 5 minutes. All right. Once again, I'd like to thank all the new subscribers. All the new subscribers. Dude, oh, you missed Kevin Jodrey, man. Dude. Oh, man. Let's see if I can. Oh, what was that dude? Oh, you know what? It's really easy to find out because they only have 1 or 2 shows a week. Is somebody else's show because I know they were just on it. I need to see where I can reach him at because I really want him to give you guys a lowdown subscriptions. That one.
What are you working on, Joe?
Oh, just seedlings. I've got just regular plants, sunflowers and marigolds and wakate that I like to grow.
Oh, okay.
I bet you could grow wakate down there. It's pretty good. It's I just grow it because I like it, but a friend of mine's a chef, gave it to me years ago, like 6 or 7 years ago. He was using the seedlings, just cut them off and put them in salads. And he had a bunch left, so I took them home and I grew them. And I'm growing them like 15 feet high here now. They've become acclimatized. And they smell like lemon. You can use them with fish and stuff. I just like them. I like the wakate. I play games with it. I make it grow like a vine. I make it grow tall up against the garage. I use it for different colors of green in the garden too. It's long and thin. You can make it do just about whatever you want depending on what climate you give it. It's pretty neat.
All right, let's see if I can find this dude. That is not him. Oh, oh shit. Oh shit. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you all the way from Southern California, from the deserts at the very tip. Let's give a warm welcome to Green Fingers.
Hey, bud. Good morning.
Cheers.
Seems to be a bit preoccupied.
All right.
All right. I got some more seeds. Keep going.
Don't gonna die.
What is his Instagram handle? That is not his Instagram handle, is it?
What's up, everybody? What are you guys smoking on out there in the chat? Let us know below. Chris is really interactive with you guys.
Hold on.
Really interactive with the audience. What are you guys smoking? Tell us below. Go hit that like. Go unsubscribe for Chris. I like
Oh,
seeing you guys do that.
Smells from the soil. All right.
Let's see.
Look at that one. This one goes upstairs. This one goes this way.
Oh, all right. Let's see. Oh, there we go.
Wow. Nice. A lot of them popped. Nothing like free seed. I don't like it.
Falling down. Charge my phone to this one back.
Wow.
Oh, get a statistic one. Trying to read these comments, just my phone's so there it is. Last comment. And then Jeffrey, Jello.
That's better.
Time for me to smoke.
I feel very safe being underneath this tree. Very safe. No danger at all. It's very windy. Oh, shit. Yes. Very safe indeed.
Oh, boy.
Yes. Yes, I'm in the tree hut. Yes. Very safe in this tree hut. I feel very safe. Trying to work out my escape route. Okay, guys? Just trying to work out my escape route. So I'm guessing the tree's going to kind of fall this way. So I'm going to like escape that way. That way. If that tree falls, because the way it goes, it bends this way. So I want to go that way. But then if that tree falls, and it's going to go that way, might be safe going that way. Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. So I invited another guest. We'll see if that guest comes along. I think you guys are gonna like this guest. Would you guys rather study for 12 hours straight, or would you rather walk for 12 hours straight?
Where are you getting these
Depends on
questions?
what I'm studying, I guess.
I'm just asking you guys. It's just a question.
Nothing to study for. So
No, I know, but would you rather walk or study for 12 hours straight? Oh, shit. Look who it is.
Neither one.
Ladies and gentlemen. The prolific grower himself, Grumpalumbagus.
Grumpalumbagus.
Oh my God.
never heard of
Well,
that
I got
guy.
everyone's seeds ready. I got to get my brother to grab a couple more boxes to ship everything. I was looking up these seeds that I got in one of my things. It's called Giganticus Indicus from Dan Christians, called GI. I was looking it back up again. It's all Indica giganticus is a pure indica auto-flowering strain dating back nearly 2 decades. This is an offline of classic Ruderalis indica first offered by Novell at the seed bank in the late 80s.
Huh.
See? That's a gem right there, bro. That's almost like finding a fucking unicorn.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Unicorns.
80s and 90s, the Ruderalis indica was hyperized with maple leaf indica and other pure Afghan strains.
There she blows.
It grows, the leaves on it, man, are like fucking prehistoric leaves. They're gigantic, huge ass leaves.
Holy Toledo.
If you're looking for a strong, easy to grow, ultra short season plant, that's the one you want.
I walk 500 miles and I walk 5,000 more. If I didn't walk 500 miles and I wouldn't walk 5 more.
1,000 more.
No, the live tip. I just took off the rose of the live tip.
Dude, what the fuck?
I felt it, and then I tried to find it.
Dun, 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 dun.
I took one out to tell you if they want. I'm gonna check with my dog.
Stop retaining like good memory after about 30 minutes of studying. So
Right?
you
I
really
figured I
remember
couldn't
much
hold my
after
breath
studying
no
very
more
long.
waiting for Kevin
Yeah, you
Godrey,
wouldn't-
so I figured I'd just come on.
Oh. Another one of his clickbaits. Got
Hey,
it.
hey, look at
Oh.
Green Finger, look. Green Finger, look. That's just one of my little saves.
What's that exotic?
Hey,
Genetics.
hey, calm down there.
What's you popping?
Yeah,
That's the
that's my
Roxanne?
level of parkour, Frank. That's
This
my
one,
level of parkour.
look, this is the original
King.
pink, bro.
King. What? He's got the pink?
Pink, original
Predator
pink.
pink and Starfighter F2, bro.
Wow.
That should be good. Pop them.
Pink
Pretty
is the
nice.
color of love.
I'm gonna pop some more of that. Some more
Look
exotic
at some of
stuff.
these right here. This is from a homie in the hood. 555 Genetics. Look what it says on the back. Triad and Hawaiian IBL, bro.
Nice.
Let's look at this one. Oh, Shaka Kush, Narcoberry Kush, and Hawaiian IBL. What the fuck?
Definitely what
See
the
this one. This is Obsidian, Narcoberry Kush, and Hawaiian IBL. Black. Hawaiian Narcoberry Kush, Black, and Hawaiian IBL.
Woo wee!
this morning, just before I took the
Oh shit.
This one's Grape Shot. Look at that. Grape Stomper Alien and Hawaiian IBL.
Ooh. But will any of those? What year were those made?
Probably about 3 years ago.
3 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
Anything that's a little older and stuff in my collection, I just send it out to people and have them do seeds and then send me seeds back.
Whoa.
Let me see right here. Let me see this one right here. This one right here just sitting there. Oh, let's see what this is. This is lamb races. Lamb races. What the fuck?
Uh-oh. Where's
I had this
CAC
sent,
Garage?
I had this sent from Afghanistan, Pakistan.
I'm talking with you, but I'm meeting with Evan.
Afghani land race.
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, Greenfingers doesn't like that type of stuff, he said.
Marijuana IBL.
Yeah,
Marijuana. What the fuck?
No, Greenfingers doesn't like that either. Look at Greenfingers doesn't. No.
Let
You
me
were
see
saying
this
the other
one.
day how
Hey,
much you
look
hate
at this.
marijuana and
Give me the
green
most
crack.
druggy name. Give me the druggiest names of all
Look at
drugs.
that
Yeah,
one.
green
Call one
crack you hate.
the dopiest of all dope, dude. Fuck.
Look at that one right there, dude.
Oh, look,
I'm
it's
calling
filled with
one
chocolate too.
And that's
I'm
who
calling
it's
one
from
Next
right
Dreams,
there.
bro. Next Dreams. That'll be the next one.
Let's see this one. Oh, another Panama Red. Whoa, dude.
Another Panama. We got to get all three of those in to what's his name?
Oh yeah,
Oh shit!
bring him
Even
back
another,
up.
even a wood horse, fucking marijuana.
Oh, nice. We got two different marijuanas.
Let's see what's over here. Let's see what else is in the bag.
Man, I'm starting to get ripped off the
Original
G13.
Original G13.
Oh, my back, my neck, and my back.
What's this one right here? Let's see what this one is. How do I fucking read it? Man, Acapulco Gold.
All right.
Acapulco Gold.
That's from Bodie.
Acapulco Gold.
The Bodie pack right there, isn't it?
Yeah, it was from him personally. Don't tell no one, Green Fingers. No.
That's
Well, the green and the gold gave it away.
We're on a live show. We're like, don't tell nobody.
Yeah, the green baggie and the gold label gave it away.
Let me see what's this one.
That's what I had when I gave that stuff to Ulysses.
I normally take care of it like sometimes so and I also hold my breath for a second.
Hey, let me see your magnifying glass right there. I can't see. My eyes aren't that good. I can't see it that well. Malawi OG. Malawi OG that was sent to me from overseas right here. It's a Malawi OG.
Allegedly.
No, it was sent.
No.
I don't know what this
thing.
one is.
I think the farm bill says that's legal.
What's this one?
And even a legal state.
I love you with all your heart.
For all legal states.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this one? Let me see. I forgot what they sent. Let's see. People and their chicken scratch when they send me shit. It's like, okay, let me see. What's this one? Oh, a straight purple Afghan from fucking Afghanistan. Purple Afghani land race is what they wrote. Yeah, purple Afghani. They wrote it on a shred of paper. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, the paper has to be with a piece of tape over it, so just in case it won't get
What's that?
You got to put some of that tape over that paper so it doesn't get ripped off of there and get lost forever.
Well, did you want me to send you something?
Oh, no. What's his name needs to get that red Panama, the Panama red, though. He's got 2 of them already, right?
Look, I got that one from North Star that I'm sending him. I got another pack of fucking Panama red.
That's crazy, huh? There's like 4 different Panama reds now. Smash them all
I didn't
together.
have enough Panama red, so I got more Panama red.
Yeah, you can't have enough.
I can't remember half the shit that I got in some of this stuff, dude.
I got a pack coming, Panama red sometime. It's getting humid, man. I can't stand that shit.
Here's a Mandarin Jack times Rosetta Stone.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Everyone remembers where Rosetta Stone came from.
Brother Grimm from what planet?
That was fucking Brothers Grimm, the original Brothers Grimm. There was the Oregon Purple Danish right there. I had to look for it. Oregon Purple Danish F1 from Gonzo Farms. That's who did the 555 was Gonzo Farms. He changed from Gonzo Farms to 555. I think he's incarcerated right now, though.
That ball rips for all the brothers that are fucking locked up.
I think he's hanging out with wives.
Calm down. That's not cool.
Yeah, I wonder if THC wants the fucking Mandarin Jack Rosetta Stone.
Speaking of that, somebody needs to put some money on Wise Books. Come on, guys. Somebody out there, put some money on his books. Who's gonna put some money on Wise Books?
You got a message when you get back.
Oh, what guy? Oh, High in the Hills? That's High in the Hills you're pointing to.
You get donations from people.
I don't get donations. I get just enough to pay for the channel.
Right.
It's more than the rest of us get. Shit.
What board did your son break, Chris?
What's up?
What maker was the board your son broke? You go ahead.
Oh, it was a Santa Cruz. I forget. It had like a panther on it and shit. Nice. I think. But yeah, it was like blue. I'll show you guys. I'll go grab it. Oh, I need to get up anyways. Keep moving. So today I feel better than yesterday. And
I have one of those right there. Little Dodge Colt. Little Dodge Colt like enemies. That's too funny.
Sometimes who wrote my rhymes? Got the microwave, got the VCR. I got the deuce in the trunk of my car.
Yeah.
Yeah, only you. The love that I found. Hard to keep my soul on the ground. You're a fool. Don't fuck around, my dog. You fill up my garage. You're mine. From
Everything
Jamaica, all the love that I found. There's a reason why my soul's on. You just sunk under my shoe. It's that smell inside the van. My bed sheet covered with sand. Through a shitty band. On my hand. Pulled by the man. To an alarm. Needles in my arm. On a freeway. Every day. In the sound. Castle.
The chair. For like a dog or dog or something.
Okay, that is it.
Yes, though.
Roaches in the pot. Things I do. They're waiting for you. Smaller than that. Plus 10. Smaller than 10. All right. Smaller than a 10. What's this?
In the bedroom?
1132s.
I'm gonna come in just a second.
No, it's not. Go by itself.
1132s.
Go by itself.
A still 10.
I love you.
Oh, come on. There's no other. All right. Found that. Let's see.
Dr. Leave Alone, right?
comments.
Did I hear a giveaway, Grumpy?
What?
Right there.
Ah! There's a trap. You fell for it.
Who wants to do a seat increase on the pink? Because fucking J5 said he has a pack he'll throw in too for the seat increase.
Jesus, that sucks.
We get green fingers and thanking you.
No, I'm saying that sucks as in.
That's
What's the pink again? Starfighter.
Is that also a fire engine?
here. Let me look real quick. I got the keys right here. Let's look.
Huge Starfighter or fuck that?
It's Pink Predator with Starfighter.
Yeah. What a dipshit.
Predator Pink with fucking Starfighter. Look right here. Predator Pink with Starfighter F2.
Okay.
They're like 10 years old almost, right?
50, 60
I already
days
did
to
acknowledge you. I
flower.
don't know what more you want.
50 to 60 days flower.
Seats are fucking hell.
I told you what I thought about it.
Heavy
That's
producer.
what a dipshit.
I was gonna say J5 said he'd throw
You
down a
should
pack
leave.
as well for the same thing. So just a seed increase. I mean, hey, if anyone wants, if we can get the seed increase, Starfighter
I
times
still got.
Plushberry times Starfighter is what J5 said. She's worth 3/4 Starfighter, so she's worth an increase, J5 said.
Yeah, no, she's worth the increase anyway. It's just because it's an older pack or something. You always got to keep something around. Got a few years on it now. Yeah, doing a few seed increases coming up soon. Well, not soon, like 6 months.
What happened?
1.5 times. I gotta get a tent so I could do stuff like that. Do a small seed increase, fucking easily in a tent off to the side of my room.
What?
Yes. Dedicate the whole room to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be a good one right there for sure for increasing on that one.
So you might want to check your messages because you got the second message.
Al, you're right, dude. That stuff I had another pack of it and grew it out. And fuck, dude, it was straight THC Garage. Jump on here real quick, bro.
Yeah, jump on here. You hear us talking about seed increases? He's like, I'm not jumping on. He's like, I'm not jumping on. He's like, I already got so much stuff on my plate. Stuff like that.
Who
Keep throwing
said,
in more
hey,
seeds.
man,
Well, we need
fucking
more of
shout out
these.
for real Extreme Fingers.
I mean, if I had enough soil, I could do everything, but I don't got enough soil.
Okay.
And I don't make no money giving seeds away for free. Like, I don't make the $1 giving shit away. I literally I lose money every time I give something away because all the packaging and whatnot.
Dr. Leave Alone, if there's something you saw that you would like to, just let me know. I could always send it to you, brother. I was gonna say a seed increase would be great, bro. I mean, what's Big John up for a seed increase or what?
What's up, bro?
I got your Oregon Purple Danish and some of those ass stompers right here packaged up. I'm just waiting for my brother to
Come to you all
come back with a couple more
way
boxes to send everything in at the one time.
from Tornado Alley.
Out
Let's
there.
give a warm welcome to THC Garage.
THC Garage. What up, bro?
Woo!
THC.
No clouds. Thank goodness.
What's up,
What
TC?
up?
Hey, we were
Yes,
talking
No,
about
hot.
a seed. We were talking about a seed increase on these right here.
Yeah?
Predator Pink and
Yeah, what do you want to do with
Starfighter.
it?
J5 and me both have a pack, and we want to send it to for a seed increase.
Cool. Yeah,
I'm
I have to do it in
just
the
gonna
fall
grow
though
them
if you
again.
guys don't mind.
What's that?
I can do it at the same time. I can do it at the same time. I make the increase for tank. I can do it at the same time.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. J5, what do you say? I'm gonna send mine. I'm gonna send this pack for a seed increase to THC Garage along with the Panama Reds as well and stuff. You're gonna use the
Oh
Panama
shit.
Red for whatever you're
Oh
doing and
shit.
stuff.
Okay.
Oh shit!
That's
More
good.
Panama Red.
Yeah, that was that one from Joel, the Panama Red F4s. I
Oh,
was
that's
gonna
great.
send them to you,
Yeah, that'd be
remember?
perfect, man, because I can work it into mine. Yeah, I remember now.
And then the
Yeah, that's
other
cool.
one
Yeah,
from
I can do it
Exotic,
in the fall.
these other ones here are from Exotic and stuff. And J5 has another pack as well. He said we'll throw them down together so that way you could do a seed increase.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I'll go for it. I'll do it. But it has to be in the fall, and then we can testing in the next season coming up.
Okay, so J5 is gonna send me the Starfighters to me, and then I'll just send the whole thing
Okay.
to you, THC.
Yeah, yeah. Just wait until I just send you something. Wait until I get here, and then you can send everything with it back.
I'm not worried about it right now, bro. At least you'll have the stuff, and then when you're ready to do it, you're ready to do it, bro. That's cool.
That'll do it. Yeah, perfect.
Perfect.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I jump right back up in a minute. I'm at work. So I jump right back up in a
Okay.
minute, about to get
All
off.
right. Cool. All right,
All
brother.
right, man.
See you, bud.
Joe, I got some Oregon purple Danish for you to run out there too. That's that stuff made for the cold weather and stuff like John.
Yes, sir. Thank
Uh,
you very much.
I'd like to give a shout out to all
Looking
the
forward
people
to it.
that
Greg.
are at
Thank
work
you.
right now and watching. Thank you.
Green fingers, are
Or
you loaded
listening.
down right now? You don't have time for any kind of like fucking extra work or nothing? No?
Oh, yeah, I could do something.
I'll
Yeah, I
send you
got
something
time.
no matter what,
I
brother.
got some new soil coming, so that's what I'm waiting for officially. Like
Okay, yeah, not a problem.
just new soil. And once I could get enough soil, I could fill my room back up. I only got what's in the middle beds. Usually I fill up the whole outside with pots. I don't have any pots to
Yeah,
fill up the outside.
heck
It
yeah.
sucks.
J5, do you have THC's address, brother?
I haven't read the comments for a second. So get back in there. Oh, I found the fucking weirdest book. Oh, I'm on the phone. I can't
Shit,
show it.
how the fuck? Does anyone
Well,
know J5's information on here?
I can't even
I'm
see the
sure
comments on my
somebody
phone.
does.
I was going to tell him to go to the back chat and look for the address, but he's in the comments.
Yep.
Oh, slow.
How about let THC Garage deal with that aspect, or have him send it to you, and then you can send it to THC Garage, because remember, it's not gonna be for a while. He said how long?
Fall.
So we got months. We got months. So don't
Well,
worry
yeah.
about it.
I mean, they're just sitting there anyway, so what's the difference?
No. I'm saying we got months. Okay, they're safe with you. We'll figure it out. We got months. He's not gonna be able to do anything for months.
Hey, have you ever had wash your sister's house?
For months till fall. That's like October.
Right? It's going to go by faster than what?
Nah, dude, right? I know. Trust me, Grumpy.
What is it?
I know.
Worcestershire
I'm not.
sauce.
I'm not. I'm not.
That's
I
a hard name for
am.
some people to say.
What's
For
the
sure.
word? I'm not. I understand the whole perception of time. As we get older, the faster time moves.
Worcestershire sauce.
Like when I was
What are you
young,
talking
it seemed
about?
like everything took forever for me to get this age to that age to 21 to fucking 18. You know what I'm saying? Like it was forever. But then when you hit your 30s and your 40s, and shit just fucking starts.
Okay, let me take this stuff. I'll be right back. I'm gonna take this off the table real quick.
I wish that was true, man. I wish that was true. No, you just gotta enjoy the moment, enjoy the time that you have, enjoy it. Because you never know when it's gonna be over. You never know when it's gonna stop. You never know. It could be over in an instant. So
Okay. Anybody have a pack of the bog grape, sour grape? That's the one I have to do an increase on. I have a pack, but if anybody out there has a half or a pack, we can go in together, make more of a increase. That would make it better for me. What's the?
and if I
I'm trying to
stay
find a
under
pack. I
this
don't know what I
tree
did.
too much longer, I'm probably gonna meet my end quicker than I probably would have been. I feel like this is a stupid move. Like, it is windy. I don't understand. Like,
The sun
look
hitting your
up.
freaking phone pissing me off now. While your phone hitting that
No,
glare is killing me. Fucking
let's
so
see.
shiny behind you, bro. Like a freaking laser ball. Fucking white. Fucking fireball behind your head. Wild. Now I can see without. Nope. Damn, that ball behind you is
Hold
crazy.
on. Let's see if I can do this. Wait, let's see if I can do
Great
this.
shit, dude.
Let's see.
It's fucking
Hold on.
awesome.
Video effects. Portrait.
It's just the sun's trying to glare through too much. It's killing it.
There
And then
we
I
go.
can see
Like
you good
that.
on this phone. Not like my other phone where it's all fucked up.
Okay. Is
all
it
like
better
super
like
clear.
that? With it portraitized? Does that look better?
No, now it just looks like I'm really high. I know. Now I see what you're doing. Okay. I was like, dude, it's like I'm really fucking faded, dude.
Yeah, if I don't have my phone on the camera and shit, I don't get the other effects and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of sucks.
So when you go like that right now, your phone will blow up.
Yeah, that's only if you have your phone on.
I don't know why mine doesn't do it. Okay. Stupid ass phone.
Yep.
You got 4 packs of bog sour grape. How the fuck do you do that? Where'd you find 4 packs?
Oh,
You got a single pack of bog. I remember you saying that before, J5. A couple of those sweet and sour.
what's the bog mean to you?
Bog?
Yeah, what's bog? Huh?
The breeder, his name is Bob. He's no longer with us, passed away.
Oh, okay. So bog is okay. So okay, all right,
Let me find the pack. I don't know what I do.
all right. That's what it means to you. I mean,
Bushy old grower.
oh,
Is that what it stood for? I don't remember. Yeah, that's all I got left. Tried to pop a couple of them. I didn't have success with like 2 of them didn't pop. 2 of them popped and then something ate them. And then I was like, nope, I ain't trying them again. I'm gonna save the rest. And just hit them with each other when I do. To start off with 13, ended up with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8. I can't see them all. 7, I think. That's why I needed more. Then I try to find another. There's got to be a pack out there somewhere at sequence. Humid in this mother. Already at 22% humidity. Oh, dry this more. It's killing me.
Oh, I'm so excited. Last time I got a package from fucking UPS yesterday, it was at 11:12 or something, or 11:20. So I wonder if it's another package is from at that time. It's my other package. Ooh, it's gonna be so good. I can't wait. Oh, I know it's gonna be good. So good. So good.
Where at? Huey.
Okay.
Tell me. Where's the place? I looked last time. I couldn't find it. Fuck. That's a hassle. But it's still fine. I don't have to worry. Pop my feeds here now. I haven't looked. Last time, no. See, this is what's fucked up. Last time they had all their stuff, all his stuff priced at 77 or 80 something. Then he put them all back up to 108 or some shit, dude. That shit was wild. I was like, what the hell? I was like, you guys upped the price so much after. You're like fucking crazy. I was like, I ain't down with that shit. But I got these when they were on sale over there at Seeds here.
Wakate. Good shit.
Shit was wild.
Waka.
Let's take the garbage. That pot mouth like crazy today. It's like that old school weed does it.
Waka.
Oh, I got it. But I got one more. I got a pop.
All right.
Oops. Did the wrong thing with this roach. Just wanted to smoke a roach to get a head rush, and then I put the paper in there on accident. That would be nasty. Just want a head change, but not too much. Oh, hell yeah. What do you want to trade for? I got packs. I just popped some funky coma dinner in the greenhouse. Didn't check on them today. I should probably go do that. Damn shame if there's no water on it. Wait, my phone moves on a different phone. Shit, I'll be able to take that.
Wow, move fast.
I can get my light on. Can't see the screen.
Okay, I gotta come up with something else.
Oh, but what the fuck? I hate this shit. It's not fucking Zoom. It's too confusing. Before it gets too hot. Oh fuck! I opened the door at the wrong time. Fucking trucks. My dogs are gonna see them. They're gonna start barking.
There comes another giveaway. Money out the window.
Right. I have to mute you guys off fast. Watch out! Get out from behind me. Get out from behind me, don't you, girl? Fucking move.
Scissors? Working out the way I thought it would.
Come on, go further. Oh, don't hit the fucking front. Jesus Christ, I'm all set. Let me flip this thing around. Girl, get off me. Rip off the leather. Move it. Move it, move it, move it, move it. Come on. Put the tail down underneath your paws, you jerks. Come on, man. You already scratched that shit. Alright, your eyes better now? Okay. Get down. Ow, you just hit me in the elbow, bro. You headbutted me so hard.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new guest. Coming all the way from Humboldt, California. Let's give a warm welcome to Kevin Jodrey. What's up, Kevin?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on the show. Sorry for the delay. I was having technical difficulty logging on.
No problem. No problem. Awesome. Awesome. So what have you been up to? What is going on?
Man, you know what I'm doing right now is I'm just getting ready for the planting season for my farm.
Heck yeah, that's what we've been doing. Everybody on the show is planting. What kind of genetics are you going to be planting this year?
Well, up the hill, it'll be stuff that I pick up from the nursery for an extract contract. So I'm not even sure. I think Purple Sand, and I'm not sure the other two names that they mentioned. So it's the farm. It's weird, but like the farm to me is things I produce for the market. The work that I do in my own life is interesting because that's where I get to do all my weird shit. And so that's kind of cool. What I'm doing in the weird shit end of it is going through a bunch of populations that I brought back from Pakistan and a bunch of Mexican Zacatecas work so that I can do like a Big Sur Holy Weed kind of a tribute project. So Big Sur was like they Mexican, Afghani, Pakistani, but it seems like Purple Zac was used. And so what I was able to do is I was able to go check out some Big Sur out in Jamaica from someone who had a collection and then had done their own recreation with Zacatecas and Pakistani work. So when I went to Pakistan, I went and gathered stock that I thought was just fucking raw. And I wanted to be able to do a recreation too. And a lot of it was just because when I got to California in 87, that was like the first name that I heard that was like a legend of California. So, I mean, we on the East Coast growing up, we knew there was like California Cincy and shit like that. But the first name that I really ever heard was Big Sur Holy Weed. And I didn't even know what Big Sur was. I thought it was Big SIR, like it was a big dude. So I didn't know. I mean, I'm not from California. So I find out it's over near Santa Cruz, and then I go and kind of see that it's this legend. And I was just the other day, like a year or so ago, I just kind of got excited about the past in terms of just, let's go dig through some of these native populations that I get to play with and then recreate some of the modern, versions of those things. But it's not to knock it off or even trying to improve. It's just really it's a tribute. And so I'm working on that. So I'm doing the selection through the Zacatecas population, and I'm doing a selection through multiple Pakistani populations. And then I did I've been working on this red Lebanese puck line for a while, where I got the original stock from
That's
Bob
funny that you
from
say
Crickets.
that. That's what this is. I've
That's
got the
nasty.
red. Yeah, it's really good. I have a lot of non-smokers say that this weed is some of the best weed they've ever smoked, and it makes them want to smoke weed.
Oh, it's good. There's a cornucopia of profiles within the puck and the red leb. And the puck was interesting because it was a line breeding, right? So he just didn't inbreed and work. He did a line breed, which means he brought in, grandparents and distant relatives from the hash plant world into getting that skelly stabilized. And so when I first smoked it at the Regen conference with Bob, there was a specific flavor and aroma that just caught my eye, man. It was just, I was so attracted to it. But I didn't realize it was a recessive trait. Like, there's a lot of killer profiles, but the one that I wanted, of course, is the one that's pain in the ass to find. And so I went through a couple hundred of the seeds, and I finally was able to find the female that had the profile and the desired traits that could handle sex, could handle intersex stress testing. And I found the male that matched it, that also didn't go intersex at the end of its life and had the same profile. So I did a bunch of work. So now I'm doing the F4 on that. And I'm also, what I did is I took that male that was so, desirable to me. The frame was stunning. The scent on it was incredible, really, really high level of resin formation. And I laid it into a whole bunch of different plants that had like complementary profiles. And so the red lab puck that I liked the most really had almost like a Skittle cherry pie tang with that funk underneath it. And I said, I should just go throw it on top of a cherry pie and a Skittle, and let's see if I can kind of accentuate it. And so I went through the Skittle population first. So I got a couple hundred of those out in the yard under a tarp. And I start depping the end of this week, because now we're getting into the heat. And I'll be able to start sifting out. And I'll just, in this case, I got plenty of seeds because I made them, but I'm just going to look for females only in terms of clonal selection. And then I'll probably, when I get the ones I like, I'll be able to run them into each other and bring out. Yeah, that's beautiful. The one that I liked, it turns purple. So I went through tons of plants for a while, and I was looking for what was very specific. But I got lucky that, how it goes when you hunt, you find things that you don't expect to find. And so I found 3 other plants in that hunt that I just thought were killer. And so I laid that male into all of those as well. So I would just have them preserved. But the Skittle and the cherry pie aroma that was like combined on that one, I'm really interested to see. And I just figured I would just run the Skittle first. And I'll do a couple hundred of those and just select out stellar females, and then I'll regrow them. Once I take them out to fruition, I'll be able to cut them in half. I'll do a smoke test, and then I can regen the ones I want to keep, because it's just a pain in the ass to take that many clones and have to hold them over the course of a season while you're waiting. And in the past, when we were running, nurseries, it was a lot easier because we had the space. But nowadays, with the way the world works, all space must be money. And so it's easier to do this stuff for me personally and be able to just kind of, regrow the plants that I pull out. So I'll cull all the males, and then I'll just select the females that I like. And if I find a couple of those Skittle red leb puck females that I think are really hot, then what I'll do is I'll reverse them into each other, and I'll be able to put a fem line out from that profile if I think it turned out. But how it goes. You never know what's going to happen till it happens. So most of the time, the shit you think you're going to do turns out like shit, and the accidents that you bump into turn out better. So, So, like in the big picture of things, you just got to be able to look through populations and then be discerning and determine, what do you really want to have and where are you looking to go. And so I'm excited. And in California, like here in Humboldt County, when I was doing all the medical work where we were trying to put, we put the medical rights into the state so that legalization didn't supersede medical rights. So you still have full medical rights. And then I fought for it in Humboldt County too. And Humboldt kind of fucked up where they were emphatic about following federal guidelines. No one knew what federal guidelines was. They thought federal guidelines was fucking zero. But I researched the NID program, right? So I took a look at the program that the feds used to create the federal cannabis program, and it came with crop data. It came with how much canopy does an individual need to have to be able to actually produce their amount. So when Humboldt County, at the hearing said, we are going to follow, and I prefaced it that way. I said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to follow federal law completely. And the county said 100%. And I said, great. Here's federal law. And what it did is it allowed us to have enhanced medical canopies with unlimited plant count. So for me at my house with over 5 acres, I can have 400 square foot of canopy. So I can have a 10 by 40. And that's just my medical. And that's in addition to my 6 that I can have as a state legal consumption. So I can grow 6 that I smoke, but I can also do a 400 square foot medical canopy legally. And I use that to do hunting so I can find out what I want to grow next year. And, and it was funny because people, they couldn't understand why I was fighting for medical rights so hard. And I'm like, because they're the only things you have as a protection, that once you have medical rights installed, they're safe. And I think that it's what most people really need is the ability to have 6 plants. It doesn't fucking help anybody. You don't have, how do you even hold? So say you have 3 plants you really like. Well, now you're holding 3 in the house. So what does that mean? You get 3 outside and 3 in the house. It's like, it's a fucking nightmare. Yeah. And so the medical allows you to get around that. And I use it to be able to go sift populations to find stuff that I want to grow next year. And also do like seed preservation products that let me hold stock in seed form, because the California electricity rates went through the fucking roof. And so it becomes prohibitively expensive to hold any material at your home. And you can't really give your material out to nurseries or places because they're not legally allowed to intake it. It has to come from the internal metric system. So it's this fucked up, convoluted plant removal process where at the end of the day, we'll have no fucking plants left that don't fit a COA desirability. And that's not really medical cannabis. Medical cannabis is herb that you smoked that made you feel good. And that's why you chose it. The COA doesn't determine that. If the COA matches your desire and the COA is sellable, then that's great. But if not, you just fucked. And so all of these plant count bullshit things create hella problems. But what we did is we fought for it where there should be no plant count in a medical canopy. That way you're never prohibited and it just goes off a canopy. So we figured out, on an indoor, you could have 50 square foot and 1200 watts. Anything under an acre, 200 square foot, over an acre, up to 3, and then over 5, 4, and that's it. So, and that's only, per APN, not like for people in the house. So because my house has got property, it lets me put in a medical system, and then I can just set up a really simple light dep so that I can dep them, and I'm able to do all my regenerative work outside again at the end of the season by letting the sun do the work. And then I just got to bring them in under an LED to blink them at night to break up the hormonal concentration so they don't flower. And I'll be able to recover and collect, hopefully out of the 300 or 400 plants, 2 or 3. I mean, and that's real selection. Like people are selecting shit out of 10. And sometimes in life, you bump into 10 people and one of them is the best friend you ever met. A lot of times you better go through 10,000 to find that same quality. So numbers are key for selection to me. Like you get lucky with stuff and it's awesome, but I want to see the population blow out. And I want to see really where is the recessive traits? Where is the outliers that we typically don't want to use in breeding, but it's where you want to chase the breed because that's where you get the best quality. I mean, for breeding, you're trying to really go for the propensity where the genetic concentration is greatest so that it makes it easiest to get a stable population. But a lot of times, what's easiest and most stable isn't most desirable as a consumer. Maybe desirable for COA, maybe desirable for fucking yield per square meter. But in terms of desirability as a consumer, that shit's nuanced. And the only way you really get it is to go through big populations and smoke a lot of weed.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the only way you're gonna get it, and you're not gonna usually find the unicorn in doing a search in 3 seeds. So you gotta do hundreds and hundreds of seeds to be able to find the unicorn. You know,
if the
it's
breeding is bad, like that's what.
yeah,
See, that's the problem with herb is that it just because 2 dogs fuck doesn't make you a dog breeder,
exactly.
right? So, you know what I mean? I would say the same thing. Your dog jumped the fence and screwed
Yep.
my dog, and now you're a dog breeder.
Yep.
That's not a breeder, right? And so when I was out, I went out to Jamaica, like I was talking earlier, and I went out to Charles Scott's spot, and Charles has got a master's degree in breeding, so he understands scientific breeding, but he's a fucking weed freak. And when he was trying to tighten up the haze populations, it had got so far out of reach that he had to go through like 700 plants to find the parental stock, so that he was able then to work that line out so that when you bought a 20 pack, you're going to find something impressive. But when I talk to a lot of, and I don't out people. So like if you're a seed person and I hit you up privately, I'm like, yo, I love your work. What's the frequency of that combination? And they're like, honestly, I said, yeah, I'm not going to tell anybody, but I need to buy seed from you to find it. I kind of need to know how many I need to buy. And when they start telling you it's like 1 every 200, that shit is too many. And with a lot of the Colombian work, and it really is that far, like you get herb that is Colombian or you get herb that's Thai, but is it the one that really rips the top of your head off? That's through a really rigorous selection process and then devoted breeding. And so I got to kind of see from Charles how he approached it, where he went through these big populations, chose the outliers, ran them, figured out what male-female combination gave him the best characteristics and repeatability. And then what it does is now it allows the individuals to buy a 20 pack and find success.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we've been talking about, me and my friend Corey. We've been talking about we should, if it's to find the one that you are, the one that you want us to have, the one that you're thinking of. If it takes 20 seeds, give us 20 seeds. If it takes 50 seeds, give us 50 seeds. If it takes 200 seeds, give us 200 seeds. Give us the amount.
It makes it impossible that, for so many years of like my life, it was, I didn't give a fuck because I was running large commercial illegal operations, right? So I didn't give a shit. But then I got into the dispensary end of it in 2007. And I really started to understand the reality of most people's existence, where they don't have the space or the resources to look at 200 plants. They can only look at a tenth's worth. And it really kind of changed my whole perspective on cannabis, where I really started to understand that the vast majority of people are just dependent on quality material. And that when you put it in a situation where the thing that they want, and typically we would say ethereal products are the most difficult. Ethereal meaning mentally stimulating, higher level, right? And I'm not saying that narcotics are lower level, but we're just saying that lower level meaning neck down, neck up, equatorial, right? So in the way the effect is, I find it a lot harder to find the right profiles in mind-altering cannabis than body-altering cannabis. To me, it's a lot easier to find a population of herb that kind of calms you down than it is to lift you up correctly. And I mean lift you the fuck up. So it's in those populations that's really where it's like your depression market. So to me, you have primarily, if you look at the data over a 30-year period in California for medical, you're going to say that 95% of the people that come into cannabis looking for medical relief are looking for one of four things: mood, appetite, sleep, and pain. And so that's the majority of people. 95% of people that came in for recommendations, those were the reasons that they came in. Mm-hmm. So for me, I always kind of saw it as this weird dichotomous shift between pain and depression. And people that have pain aren't necessarily depressed, even though they're in pain. And people that are depressed aren't necessarily in pain, but they're in kind of mental pain. But neither faction believes the other one is valid. The one who has depression is just like, work out your pain. And the one who has pain is like, fuck it, get over your depression. And so it's this validity that has to occur where cannabis is used by all people, and each individual has the right and the privilege to say, this is what I need, this is why I use it, and I shouldn't have to fucking defend it, and it shouldn't be this difficult to find what I want. So when you get people into stuff that's uplifting in that regard, it's kind of bottlenecked into where basically you're running them into a fucking blue dream or a train wreck. And neither one of those plants are bad plants. They're incredible plants, really. But if I don't, I can't smoke train wreck anymore because I smoked it for so long.
I'm on that boat. I keep telling people.
I think it's a stunning plant. And I mean, I had a fucking history with it. I had it since in the 90s, mid 90s, I was touching it. So like, I ran as much train wreck and moved as many train wreck clones as anybody I've ever met. I kind of got burned out on it. And I got kind of burned out on Blue Dream, even though I like Blue Dream as parental stock because it's got such incredible vigor. So it's so easy to grow. But it's got a profile that I just don't dig unless I do it outdoor and I take it out to like mid-November. I mean, you really got to take it out to like thicken the flavor. So we only got 2 fucking choices in the whole industry. So it's in the uplifting type category that it's really hard to find things. And when you go into any of the work, you basically have to just cross your fingers and hope you find something, because there's no breeding developmental work in that field, because it automatically takes you out of any commercial consideration, right? So anything over 70 days is not fucking grown in the modern world of cannabis. If you're running a commercial operation, I fucking challenge you to show me shit you flowered over 70, because the market doesn't pay you any more for it. So that's why you saw sours and shit drop out, because really they want to go to like
only
84.
one,
GMO.
Kevin. No, one. There's one. The GMO. Okay, 2 GMO and PIF. Those are the 2.
The PIF is in a very specific market.
Yeah.
And really, if you take a look at it, they're doing the same thing. They're trying, and I don't blame them, but they're bringing in other genes, and they're trying to bring the PIF characteristics. So, which is really like a NL5 haze. If you really, it's not. These are Dutch hybrids. Almost all the New York stuff, and I'm not knocking it because it's gorgeous cannabis and it's some stunning shit, but it's been modified, and so. So if you only have 2 things, and we know the GMO because it's such a hash dumper, right? It yields so heavy and throws so much hash, and the COA is so high.
Exactly.
But there's not much else that fits into those categories. And so you have to really go through a lot of work to find the breeder that took the time to stabilize the population so that you buy a 10-pack, there might be something good.
Yeah.
But for most people, they're just getting hammered. And if you're having to pay the money for the electricity, spend the time to grow it, and you're getting just basically average cannabis,
exactly,
that's depressing. And so if you're
going to move on to a different breeder.
Fucking failing, you're even more depressed.
Well, you're going to move on to a different breeder because you're going to be like, well, I don't like this guy's stuff, so I'm going to go to another breeder. And generally, if you like the guy's stuff, you're going to stick with that breeder.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's just that very few are working those directions. So, like, I'm messing around with the cool one this year, but it'll be like 90 days, but it's maybe 95. But it's I got it from the what's that called? Independent Breeders League, the IBL. That's Mario out of Santa Barbara. And he tied in with the dude out of Spain. I can't remember the original dude. I got the note, so I know who created it. But it was a Zamal to a Congo. And so Zamals are so long and so variable that it's a nightmare to work with Zamal populations unless you really, really bring them down with something heavy broadleaf, but then you lose all those characteristics. And so this guy had good success with the Congo Zamal. And then I was able to get some seed stock from them so I can dep it out because it would never finish here in Humboldt. So I'll dep it out in a month, and then it'll finish at the end of the season, by October, but with the full 90 days of flower, 90 plus. And then hopefully maybe I can pull a good clone out of it. But if the crop is consistent, I wouldn't even pull a clone. I would just buy another pack of seeds so I don't have to run a fucking mom tent to hold the plants. It just becomes too difficult to be able to really enjoy herb when you have all these artificial limits and the cost is so expensive.
Yeah.
That regular and there's some people are exempt from that, like I get access. But the older I get, the more I want to see myself as normal because it lets you have a life. If you're fucking tied to your mom room, your life is minimized. And I mean, I've been holding herb in collections for fucking decades. It just makes it tough. And so what hopefully we start to see the development of these varieties that are more stabilized. The parents was selected best. It was like a quote from Fletcher from Archive, but he was like, the real selection is the parents, not the progeny. And we select progeny because we're clonal producers. But from a seed perspective, that's not what you're seeking. You should get a pretty homogeneous cluster of plants in the development. And what we want is the ability to be able to hold seed stock and make our lives easier and only grow the 6 you're allowed and not have to constantly be in a situation where you're having to push every boundary there is. And for a lot of people that aren't career lawbreakers and, multi-time felons like myself, it's better for them. Not everybody should have to go through that shit just because they want to smoke fucking weed that requires more than 6 plants to find.
Kevin, I've been
man.
following you for so long, man. Since I grew up in Lake County, I've been following you for quite a while, man.
I hope you got some value from the work, boy.
Man, you are, man, I love to just sit and listen to you speak about all your stuff that you're doing, and your travels were such an inspiration this last time, man, that I'm like, I would love to go over there and see the country myself now.
Oh, good. I'm glad, because that's really what they wanted. And I didn't know what to expect. I knew that the guys I was speaking to in Pakistan were good guys. Like, being in the game we're in, people always ask me that. They go, how do you figure out these dudes are good? I said, that's dope dealer skills. You can pick a dude quick.
You're right.
It just is. Like, you're weird, I don't want to fuck with you. And weird in certain ways, because we're all a little weird.
Yeah.
But in this case, these were really good men. And I understood what they wanted. They wanted to be able to bring people over to Pakistan to expose us to the world of Pakistan so that maybe we would go home and talk about the experience. There was no real agenda. It wasn't like a business trip. It was really a bunch of dudes that had grown up post 9/11, and they watched their country just get ripped to pieces because of the war. And they grew up and became men, became successful in other countries, and said, you know what? We want to go back to Pakistan and try to be good Pakistanis and try to do some good.
That's awesome.
Oh, it was beautiful. So the whole intent was just really brotherhood, bond building. And it was really a recreation of the Silk Road, where all these dissimilar cultures had to get together to move product so that the Romans could buy the silk and the Chinese could get the Roman gold.
Yeah.
And that creates this loop, but everybody along the Silk Route got to participate, benefit. It's where the word middleman came from. So they wanted to do that, and to be able to be brought into that and see it from that perspective, and then spend almost a month cruising through the fucking Karakoram, Hindu Kush, and Himalaya mountains, and then looking at, hundreds of thousands of plants in selection form, where we just went through field after field looking for outliers so that we could really take a look and say, what's the root? Because all hash work is coming from those countries. So everything we
God.
touch today that we're obsessed with washing, it all comes from these places. And so I wanted to really, for my whole life, I wanted to see what it looked like in raw form. I wanted to see wild populations in the mountains that are just wind blown. They grow in crevasses that are moist. You get to see cannabis in its original form, like corn, where like little tiny ears. When you look at original cannabis, it's got the smallest amount of flower, but these massive bracts and huge resin concentration, but literally no weight at all. So because the weight creates mold propensity, right? So the mass. And so you get to see what cannabis looked like before people started steering the populations. And so you get to see wild indigenous cannabis, and then you get to see steered populations, because the Pakistanis, unlike the Indians, the Indians, who are geniuses in the way they work too, they just do straight open population, right? They don't do any selection. Male and female all left in the field. But Pakistanis do male selection, where they only choose certain males, but a diversity of them, so that what you get is you get these high quality males, but that constitute different aromas and different morphological characteristics and different colorations. So that what you get is survivability. So you see these populations, and you go through the field and they'll show you this is the male we left. And then you go down the field a little bit and you see the other male they left, and it's radically different, but it's also choice. And so it allows them to always have this diversity so that you don't lose the crop to a single pathogen. And the natives, each village I went to, I spoke to the elders in every village. And I was like, do you hold your collections proprietary? How do you work with it? And they said, oh, hell no. Anytime somebody has good seed, we access it. So it kind of tripped me out. But in the truest sense, original cannabis is, everybody's like screaming land race. That shit's a fucking hybrid too, because you're getting a population from your neighbor on the other side of the mountain, and it's different than yours, and you're using it in yours to bring out quality. And nobody was hoarding anything. They were all sharing the information and the genes so that everyone had access, because cannabis in Asia is primarily a food source first.
Yes.
Then it's a medicine, and then it's resin for your head. So the spirituality component, but the medicine they make into tea. So everybody's drinking cannabis tea. Everybody's growing a crop of seeds. So you have these killer omegas and fats for your winter food. So you just roast them. And so we're drug obsessed, but the rest of the world is whole plant obsessed. So it was just such an education on how, when you have cannabis in your hands for 2,000 years, how do you behave with it? And you behave very different. We're kind of weird with weed, because for us it was illicit, and then the plant was the value, and if you had the right cut, you were the man. And it created this weird fucking silo in our culture where we didn't share info. When I first started really moving plant stock, like I would have been in early 90, like 90, 91. People were losing their fucking minds, and they were like, you're giving plants to people who don't deserve them. And I'm like, define deserve. Like that's like, the kid's cool. He's a good kid. So why shouldn't he have access to the plant so he too can make money and have a fucking better life?
It was never bred to be hoarded. It was to be shared and stuff. And that's what I remember. Kevin, I'm 58, so I remember growing up in the older days, and it's like everybody shared. It was an open thing, and it was all part of that. But then as it went along, now everybody just hoarding everything. They don't want to share nothing.
Well, you start to overvalue what you have, and it's because you're able to trap it out on Instagram. But if you're somebody who's not trapping it out on Instagram, none of that shit matters. Somebody's got some wicked feedback.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was gonna say I've traveled over to Morocco and to Spain. I got friends in Spain. Natural genetics from Spain. I know those guys over there, and I've been to Morocco and a few other places over there, India, and cannabis is whole different over there. Most of them don't even touch the flower. Most of them just smoke the hashish or whatever. I'm like, wow.
Well, they can't smoke the flower because it desiccates, it dries out. And so if you look at flower production, right, for flower consumption, it's only on the equator and 20 degrees up and down. Anything after that, you start getting into these hyper dry, high mountain deserts. And if you leave the herb out on the table, it turns into fucking powder.
Yeah.
Literally. Because it's, you know, it's like 6% humidity kind of shit. It's crazy
Colorado.
dry. Crazy. Yeah, Colorado dry. And so those cultures just adopted, you know, hash consumption as a way to hold the resin. And then they pull the seed. But equatorials, and that's why equatorials, like when you really get into equatorial herb, you find that 6 months, 7 months after you harvest it, it's peak. Because that's how they smoked it. They didn't smoke the shit fresh. They let it die on the stick.
Right.
And let it go through the winter and then pull it out and then hold it and then bundle it. So Africa, Colombia, Thailand, Cambodia, all these places that fit, that's all flower consumption, not meant for extraction. And if you ever, like I did a Congo extraction and I did it on purpose because I wanted the product, right? But it was probably the single least efficient extraction in the state of California. Because, I mean, I extracted a fucking tree of a plant and got a ball the size of like a small golf ball. But the quality of that high was unreal, and it was just primo. And I did it just because I could. You know, It was the ability to say, look, I want Congo hash, but I know that I'm going to get, you know, 0.5 as a return, not 2, 3, 4, 5, fucking 0.5. And it was, but that's to me what like legal cannabis should allow people to do. You should be allowed to grow enough of the weird shit and then put it into the form you want to consume it. And they just make it so fucking hard that really all it is you basically, here, you get a commoditized cannabis, do your thing. But if you really want some weird effects that just suit you, you're kind of limited. And so traveling overseas lets me see a totality of usage. And the only part that's kind of weird is that, you know, the United States, specifically like LA and New York, they influence the world in terms of trends.
Yes.
And so everyone wants to be LA. So the kids don't want to smoke hash. They want to smoke vape pens. They want what the LA kids smoke. And I understand it's this idea that somehow we're living this better life because of our media. But it's trying to get the people that hold the cannabis to understand, look, whatever you do, don't get rid of the genes that you had to go into modern shit. There has to be a duality. You can go and create things that can move into the modern market, but when you get rid of the foundation that created it, you can't go back. So preservation is different than selection. And so I do these broad population selections and then pass them out to people so they can get a hold of cool genes they probably couldn't access. And I usually do it for free when I go to a lot of the cannabis events so that people that don't have a lot of money can get it because everything's expensive, right? That's preservation. You're giving people material that they have like an emotional connection to, and then they'll work with it and hold it and keep it in that form. And then there's an ability to take that, outcross it, select, use it in other forms that are more commercially desirable, if that's your route. But we're having to still do the same shit we've always done, which is create human gene banking, because there is no centralized banking that's stable or safe. And if you use TC banking, it's expensive to go through the process. So you got to scrub a plant. That's going to be a couple grand. Then you got to pay $100 a month to hold it, right? So how many people? I remember when TC first came out, it was 10,000 a cut, right? And I got like 10 cuts back from the lab I had dropped off, and I'm holding it in my hand, and I showed somebody. I said, "This is $100 fucking grand." You realize that, right? These 10 plants are $100 fucking $1,000 in technology. Who the fuck can afford that?
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah. So now it's down in price and stuff, and so that's really where we're trying to work with some of these companies to, you know, really refine cryobanking, because cryogenic banking would be, it's a process to get the cell not to explode when you get it down to, you know, almost 300 below zero. But if you can cryobank human cells, you can cryobank cannabis cells. And cryobanking is the cheapest way to do it. And then what you'd be able to do is have like a community cryobank. And because at that form, it's hemp, you wouldn't have any of the restrictions. And because it's cryo, it doesn't require continuous service. You just have to have a redundant power supply and then redundant gas so that the system was always topped off and you never run out of power. But with the cryo,
That'd be a
you can
great
take
idea.
that cylinder out, put it into a tube, and ship it across the world in a device that's charged. And you're able to move cryo material globally at a cost that's so much fucking less than in vitro. So,
Right.
I mean, as we get into this stuff, but my fear is that by the time we get these things mainstream, you've lost so much of the population. And each time they restrict Florida, no home grow. So every single person in Florida touching herb is a fucking criminal. You know what I mean? It's just like, it just gets old with this shit. And people don't understand that it's just really this constant compression of the gene pool so that you only have, here, what I want is I want the giant pack of Crayola crayons, not the fucking 3-pack I get at the restaurant for my 3-year-old so that he's not fucking making noise. I want the big pack.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Kevin. You know what, man? I did 2 years for the plant in a prison in California myself.
The price we pay for the life we led.
I will do it again just for this community.
Yeah, it's the community's a tough word because a lot of times it's like, what community? So, you got the trapping community, which is about the money, and I'm not against it. Then you got the medical community, which is about, open source, free access, and hopefully compassion, and I'm not against that either. But in terms of like a true unified community, we just never had one because the people that want to get paid, and those that need support need support. And I thought that, legalization would improve some of the access, and it does because it lets people who were previously afraid to come into cannabis. And I had too many people come through my stores over the years that let me see it, where they came in too late. And I'd be like, why'd you wait so long? And they're like, because and they would be crying because I'm an honest American and I don't like to break the laws. And I'm like, wow, you drank the fucking whole pitcher of Kool-Aid. It's more important for you to fucking die than it is for you to break a law. Holy fuck. And it blew my mind, but it was people that, and someone said, well, then they deserve to die. But I'm like, no, it's somebody's fucking mother. They don't deserve to fucking die. That's a hell of a penalty to pay for being a law abider.
Yeah.
Just because I break the fucking law doesn't mean I deserve an extended life.
Right.
They're not really the same thing. And it's really trying to be able to figure out, how do you create a unified culture that allows there to be an understanding that you have to be able to gene bank, and you have to be able to understand that redundancy in the gene pool is critical so that if your house burns down, you don't lose the plant. So like when I got hit in 2001, like I went on this fucking skunk hunt trying to recreate or find what I had lost. So people were like, no, maybe your memory was off. And I said, listen, I had a collection of the fucking things. They weren't all the same looking plant, morphologically radically different, unbelievably similar in that noxious profile. So I had collected them for years, and in like 201, I get hit in a raid, and they hit the house. And then the fucking sin was the other redundant grow house that held all the plants. One of the chicks that was involved with one of my partners was a fucking sneaky broad, and she had one of her drug addict friends rob the house of an armed robbery. She didn't realize the house didn't have commercial cannabis value. It was only a gene bank. She just knew that her dude had access to this thing involving me. So she assumed it was that. It was strictly a redundant gene bank that held all these things. And so I get raided and I'm like, okay, we got the gene bank. A fucking week later, an armed robbery goes down at the house and gone. And so from that point forward, right, and then I just started putting everything I owned into people's hands globally so that there's always a copy somewhere of something. And that way you don't lose it. There's no way to get it back. And so much of the source material has been polluted. And then everybody has this bright idea of, well, we're going to go to Colombia and we're going to go do it ourselves. And I'm like, well, when you go to Colombia, be aware that half the shit you're looking at is fucking American genetics now. or Dutch genes, because what do they want? They want what they see on IG. And so they're thinning their populations down. So when I go to Colombia and I get to work with collectors, they're old dudes that are passing it down to their daughters and sons, and they're the new custodians, but they're in the same situation. But they only have, limited. We used to have 100 varieties. Now we have 10. So it's this constant compression of the genetic selection. And when you go to certain areas like Colombia, the cocaine took over the cannabis industry. So they just culled out all the weed fields to grow coke. And when I went over there, we were taking all the abandoned coca fields and turning them back into weed. When you're in Afghanistan, you got the war over there that wreaked havoc. And then the Taliban kind of took back over. So the Taliban comes in and cleans out entire fucking villages of their population. All of a sudden, all those genes are gone. So it's this never-ending removal. And at some point, all you have is this shit that is being commercially sold. And the problem is it's always homogenized to fit yield per square meter, certain fucking morphology, which I call it Instagrammability, and a number over 25 on THC. And so when you're selecting this product that's for you based off of 3 criteria like that, I'm like, look, that's like picking your wife off the fact that she's over fucking 5'2", she has blue fucking shoes, and she likes to fucking paint her nails. Is that really what I'm seeking in a wife? And it's not. I would rather be able to have more traits of interest to look through. And what we've done is we've compressed cannabis to it's this. But when you smoke all this shit, it's the same fucking high. It's almost like all of this modern herb has some subtleties in profile, but I swear to God, I get the same exact fucking buzz from 90% I smoke, because when you select for THC as your major molecule, you invariably reduce all the complexity of the other molecules because it's a fucking molecular basket. You can only put so much in the basket. So if I put in 3/4 THC, I only have 1/4 for all the other molecules. And we keep doing this shit over and fucking over. And so it's just weird because when you get old, you start to become like more sensitized to what you're leaving more than what you're taking. You become you become a regenerative human being. But when you're younger, I was a fucking nut. And I'm still a nut, but I think I just see the world a little different and just realize that we need to preserve and protect what we can so that people have the ability to access this plant in the way they need. And if they want to take it anywhere they want, they can. They should have that freedom. But the source material needs to be fucking distinctly different, not homogenized.
I was shocked when you showed over there when you were doing your travels that they were growing some of the strains from over here. I'm like, what?
The indoor. When I hopped in the fucking rig, right? So I hop in the rig at the airport, right? And we're chilling. And I said, hey, you guys got any weed? And they go, yeah, we got you set up. And he fucking hands me 1/2 kilo of hash. And I'm just sitting there cracking up because, you figure you're going to get a couple grams. That's 500 fucking grams of killer hand rub out of Tira, right? So it was 5 different packages of hash that equaled 500 grams. And then I said, you got any weed, flour? And they said, totally. And he breaks out this shit. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is really good looking pot. This isn't outdoor. And it's definitely not from here. And he goes, oh no, we're growing this in Afghanistan. In Pakistan, it is indoor. And I said, how the fuck did you do that? They said, we sent over all the equipment from Europe, sent over a tech, taught the guys how to grow, got the genes from the internet. And we were talking gelato hybrids and shit, but it was really well done. Indoor's indoor. And I don't knock indoor because it's a great tool and a lot of varieties shine best under indoor. It's just that it tripped me out to see California varieties being produced and sold in Pakistan. And I said, who the fuck buys this? And they said, all the kids. The kids want, and the kids don't want traditional hash. And they don't want outdoor. They want indoor with names they can recognize. And they
don't want what their parents smoked. They don't want what their parents.
No, legal weed changed it. No, you're not cool. We need the thing that you don't want. And it was just crazy to see it. And so, you know, and we had 6 quarter pounds. So he said, I got 1.5 pounds of weed feed ablaze and 500 grams of hash. And so we were smoking so much hash that, like, when I left, I was like, I needed a break for a couple of days. Because, man, we were just hashing down it was nonstop hash. I learned how to use hash in every smokable form, you know, hash fucking tubes and cones and snakes and internals. And it was a wonderful experience. But
Like
it's
the good
just the
old
same
days,
thing.
Kevin.
Yes.
Like the good old days.
Yep. We're changing the world through the internet.
Man.
And in a lot of ways, it's positive because it brings awareness. But in a lot of ways, it's negative because we're influencing what is this product.
Right.
And the product is not Instagram. And I don't have anything against Instagram. It's just that you've taken a product I know people that when I talk to them, they're like, I don't give a fuck what it does for me. I'm about the looks. And I trip out because I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. It's a drug. But to them, the drug is absorbed through the eye, not through the lungs. And it made me realize that, like, our society had changed. And I don't even think that that's a bad thing. It's just a thing. It's just that it's not my thing. I was exposed to weed as a drug. So what I want is the drug. And I can deal with weed that doesn't look good as long as I know it doesn't look good because it's naturally open structure due to its location. I can deal with little issues because I understand what's in it. But nowadays, if that shit doesn't have a fucking diamond on it, nobody wants to touch it. And so it completely changes what the drug is that we're doing. And for me, I don't do cannabis through the eye. Like I do if I'm selecting plants for commercial marketability. Like if you bring me in to make commercial marketability selections, then that's definitely one of the criteria. But for the most part, that's really where we're going. And it's important that you allow each individual to have their own freedom to do and choose as they want. But it's important to be able to say, look, we have to hold some of these things in check so that we have them for the future. Because by the time I'm fucking 70, you're going to see and then you're going to get into the new world of like Frankenstein weed, where they'll improve everything. But at the end of the day, did they improve the way it worked for you as an individual?
Right. It's almost like giving kids cereal to choose from. It's like, which one do I want with the fancy packaging?
Yeah, and they all suck.
Mm.
And they're all fucking garbage, right?
Mm.
Yeah, they're all sugar.
Yeah, it's all fucking sugar. And it's got great packaging and it's at the eye level of a 4-year-old.
Right.
So, you know, it works really well, but it doesn't allow us, us to really dive into the miracle of weed. Because really, like, as we get into, you know, plants in general, cannabis might be one of the greatest bioreactors ever discovered on planet Earth. There's very few things. I mean, science hasn't studied everything, but we could say there's probably more chemical complexity in cannabis than almost any other fucking plant ever seen. Anything. There might be 1,000 different molecular compounds produced, and those compounds can fucking change depending on stress input, light. Like, I mean, it's so malleable.
Yes, the terroir can affect it to where that's what, like, I like being here in Sacramento. My cannabis is going to be different from your cannabis, Kevin.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Both from latitude and
cut, yep.
Everything.
Same cut.
The angle, the fucking microbiome. All the every little detail adds up, and that's really where. That's why I like outdoor best. I like it best, and it's because it allows every region on Earth. It's kind of like soil. When I was hanging out with Elaine Ingham, she let me understand something that was profound, and she said every piece of soil on planet Earth can grow a plant. She said all you got to do is get some temperature change to cool it, so that you can get the microbiome to exist. And then some form of the glue, which is like compost tea, but it's the gluing. It sticks the particles together so you don't get wind dissemination. You don't blow the soil away. But there's not a single soil index on Earth that can't grow a plant. And so it just means that the adaptability of the Earth and plants are just complete. And it's just really a matter of like trying to optimize. So Humboldt, we grow really good grass, but we can't grow what we can grow in San Diego. That's right around the 30 latitude. So I'm at 39. So I shine in things that respond to this high heat and then cold nights. But things that need a more balmy environment and a longer season, we don't do well with. And so to me, the thing I love about outdoor that I was hoping that the world would allow us to do would be to access these products that are unique and can't be replicated. So the stuff coming out of Southern California, we can't replicate in Northern California. The things that are coming from Eastern California can't be done from Western California. The shit in Michigan and Maine can't be produced by us. And it just allows all these regions in the United States and globally to have a unique fingerprint on the product. And that way, when you want the truest expression and the most variable quantity of choices, that's where you go. Because once we get into indoor and we stabilize it, it's like an ISO. You can certify a widget factory in Bangladesh or Canada, and they produce the exact same widget. Once you have an SOP, you follow it. That's the product. So if we filter the air and we use reverse osmosis and we stabilize the feed and the lighting and you know the crop steering, we pretty much get a very consistent product, which is excellent for the customer if that's what they're digging. But with outdoor in regions, what you get is these extreme profiles that are developed from that relationship. And to me, as a smoker, that's where my interests lie. You know, so it's not that I'm against indoor, and because I'm not, and it's a fucking incredible tool. And with the crop steering advent of how do we really manipulate root zone, and how do we really get a plant to stack or expand, and how do you control it, and how do you pass that data on to someone else so they can get that same situation? It's just unreal. But I like the impact of the environment on the weed. And I just love the fact that you can't do it everywhere. I like knowing that I can only do what I can do here in Humboldt, which we're good at. But if I want to get something that's in the 30, I got to go to Mexico. I got to go, bottom of Pakistan. I got to go anywhere on the 30, and I'm going to catch that vibe.
Yeah.
I think Greenfingers is on the 30. I'm pretty sure he's over by the Salton Sea. So yeah, he could grow plants till probably December, January.
Jesus.
So yeah.
No, I love it because I love Mexican genetics. I actually like Mexican work more than I like Colombian work. And I think primarily because I've had better success working with Mexican lines because they're easier to steer into acclimatizing here. Whereas Colombians, because that 12-12 trigger and the exceptionally long period, they just get too fucking big. Ties are the same way. But when I first got to California in the 80s, I had all these Mexican partners that I was doing work with. And I would go through all the packages that we were shipping, and I would pull out the seeds from the best shit, and I would run them indoor. And I knew that if the smoke was good coming out of field crop, I needed to see it in. And at the time, I was a Rockwell guy. I needed to see it in Rockwell under fucking HID. And some of the profiles that were coming out was so fucking attractive. And the plants just fit California so much better than South America's did. The finishing times were better. The resistance was better. And I love that electric high.
Definitely.
This was all Mexico. California was Mexico. We just stole it.
Yeah.
Really, we stole all this shit. We fucking took the whole fucking country from the Native Americans and then fucking swept California,
one hell of a
Texas,
deal
Mexico from the Mexicans.
All the
One
way up
hell
to
of a
Oregon.
deal.
All the way up to Oregon.
Yeah,
One hell of a deal.
Oh, they did fuck yeah. And, well, the Mexicans are the ones that created California's weed culture, right? The Mexicans they got the wars going on in the 1900s. They leave Mexico to avoid the war. They bring with them their culture in the weed. That's like 1910. It starts the same fucking racist rhetoric, xenophobic rhetoric we have now, where the Mexicans, I fucking read the shit. They're going to steal your jobs. So fucking 124 years later, we're still screaming about the Mexicans stealing our fucking jobs. And
Right.
that was the beginning of the drug war. Was about we don't like the Mexicans because they're going to steal our jobs. It really is because we didn't like fucking anybody that wasn't who we were. And then we wrapped the blacks into it too. We're like, well, if we're going to fuck the brown, we might as well fuck the black. And that becomes the basis of really the drug war, because it allowed us to use racism to drive it. But our whole culture on the West Coast is really from Mexico in terms of how we consume cannabis. We get into the dope war in the late 60s. You got the beatniks, the hippie trail. They bring back the genes from Asia. But that shit doesn't really light up heavy until really 80 when we went indoor, and that's when broadleafs just shined. So 79 is really when like a lot of the first broadleaf shit really starts being disseminated. There was shit here earlier. You had the Brother Eternal Love moving stuff in, but it was in little dots. You get into 80, you start to see it. The prices explode. That shit goes indoor. And we adopt the Asian hash plant, but we don't take the Asian hash culture with it. We take the Mexican smoking culture. So we have this culture that we jacked from the Mexicans on smoking weed, but we're using plants that are really meant to be made into hash plants. So the fucking irony, like the more I study and research urban travel, the more I'm like, what a fucking nightmare this shit is.
I remember the good old days of Oaxacan and Michoacan and all that good stuff back then, man. I still mess with it.
Me too. I look forward to the day that Mexico gets to really get back into its groove. And it's, to me, we're creating this artificial problem that lets there be this unfucking godly destabilization. And it just makes it to where it's a diminishment, because Mexico as a region, I mean, fuck, you go down from 30 to like 13. So you got one of the best growing zones on earth, and you have some of the most adept agricultural professionals that have ever lived growing.
Right.
You know, and so for me, once we get some of this fucking crazy border shit straightened out, we're not creating these artificial wars. I can't wait to see what comes out of Mexico.
Hey, Kev, I got a question for you.
What you got?
I sent in a question to your nursery, and I never got a reply, but a friend of mine, he used to grow up in Mad River years and years ago before things really got names, but he was always talking about the Rocky Martin. You ever heard of that strain?
I haven't. And we shut the nursery down a while back, my man. I lost the location due to a zoning change. And when I moved into my new operation, not long after we started to set it up, we actually partnered with Cookies, and now we're the Cookies Research and Development Facility. So all the plants that Cookies uses globally comes out of the facility we have in Cooks Valley. So I'm no longer a public nursery. And in a lot of ways, I'm kind of glad, because the cannabis industry is such a fucking nightmare that having one client's a lot easier than having 100. But it doesn't allow me to do a lot of the fun shit I used to do. But there's so much stuff. There was so many names and renames that really what you want to do is you just want to see the herb and smoke it. And then that'll kind of give you a hint of its
it would
lineage.
probably be like late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, the heyday of Northern California's weed scene. There was nothing like it. When I got here, I got to Cali in 87. I'm up in Humboldt in 90. And every farm homestead I met had their own line, where they all still worked off a seed pretty much. And it was the beginning of the colonial era.
Yeah.
But it was every farm had their own line. And because there wasn't enough herb produced in the world, you could sell everything.
Yeah,
but
supposedly
each farm
it was
worked
pretty
their own unique direction. It was to me, it was the zenith of American dope production in terms of quality.
Supposedly it was a pretty well-known strain back then up there in Mad River, but
but the thing is,
ago.
I'm sure it was, but Mad River, Dinsmore area, you got to remember, like when you're in these mountains here, it's like kind of like pockets.
Yeah.
So the Salmon Creek was a hill where the Salmon Creekers, and then you had the Miranda guys, and you got the Bloxburg dudes, and you got the Honeydew, and you got
I
the
used to hang out up in
Willow.
Compshe a lot. I was up in
you know what I'm
Compshe.
talking about.
Yeah, nobody knows where Compshe is, but that was like some of the original.
That was where Mandelbrot did all his work.
Oh, that's some of the original. I remember this like pink lemonade. I don't know, it was amazing. And then they had this like purple gassy grape way back then before it even had names. And my buddy we were just little teenagers, and he would go out into his parents' dry shed and pull out a bunch of buds, and we'd go get super baked as teenagers. But I remember that weed so much. It's probably the Mendo Purps now, but
yeah, it's something, or it was just its populations. Like when I was in Pakistan and I went on that collection, right? I cataloged everything. So like whatever we found, I reviewed, we cataloged, and then if we found something that we thought was better, we replaced it. But there was a plant, there was some, I mean, unbelievably interesting profiles, but there was one of them that was a fucking clone to like Indiana bubblegum, where it was literally Bazooka Joe bubblegum all day long, but it had a little bit of a purple tinge to it, right? Like a little grape hue. So more like a grape bazooka. And it was so identical, it blew my mind. We were all looking at it like, holy shit. And so profiles are profiles. They exist, and we kind of identified things by its scent because we didn't have genotyping. And a long time ago, I was trying to do fingerprinting through molecular compounds. I was trying to go through your scent components, right? I figured that if I could take a look at the scent components, I should be able to get a pretty good fingerprint. But when we brought in the science teams to do the work, what we found was that if we changed a single variable, it radically changed the profile. And on some molecular compounds, like in the thiol groups, if I even had a part per fucking billion of it, it changed the entire profile. I mean, radical change. And so we realized that you couldn't use these things as an indicator as much as a generalized indicator, and that you really, if you wanted to identify a plant, you had to basically, genotype it. And there was no genotyping at that time. Now we have plenty of genotyping access where we can say, okay, this is a fingerprint. If we have stock that's related, we can take a look and figure out, what's connected to it. But the work that I did with those science teams that I brought in trying to do fingerprinting, it taught me so much about the complexity of this bioreactor and how a single fucking compound at a part in hops, you can get into a part per billion and it changes the profile radically. And sometimes, like, depending on inputs, I could swing profiles in huge swings, but have no discernible smell change. And so when you get to work with labs at like really good labs at scale, and like once you start to get the ability to play around, and then for me, I'm not a scientist, but I know how to hire one. So I can hire scientists and I can hire a lab, and then I can say, this is what I'm trying to do. Let's go figure it out. And when none of them can figure it out, and you find out that it's just too complex, and you're in a room with guys that all got fucking PhDs in biochemistry, it just means it's fucking complicated. And so that kind of let me step back from wanting to know so much, and it like let me relax mentally and let me just experience so much. So it wasn't so critical that I know every component, because I realized that if I just change a single fucking thing, I can change everything in how we perceive it, which then became to me, that's what I need to know.
Well, and it's kind of a trip. I've been just recently, I grew some Bubba from Toad, and it's like one of the best things. It helps my arthritis in my fingers, and I smoke anything else and it doesn't touch it, but the Bubba does.
And Toad breeds for pain. Like what I love about Toad, other than he's just a fucking brilliant guy when it comes to weed, man, his dive into the fucking gene pool and his dive into the science is phenomenal. Toad is unbelievably sophisticated in his self-education. But what I really, really respected about him, and still do in the way he breeds, is that his whole motivation was to help his uncle. So his uncle had cancer, was going through terrible pain. He was
That's
trying
kinda
to
where
find
I'm at.
things that improved the quality of his uncle's life before he died.
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm helping a lot of people with disabilities and chairs and mental stuff. And
It's huge because then it's people like you and Toad that you can reach out to and say, hey, what are you finding that works for these issues?
yep.
And that way, people that are in those situations don't have to play fuck around for 10
Yeah.
years to find out
Yeah.
what works, because
Exactly.
they might not have 10 fucking years left to live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do a lot of work with veterans and a lot of war veterans, especially. And then we do a lot of work with the seniors up here as well, because I went from Lake County by Sonoma all the way up here to Southern Oregon, just by Ashland, where all the wineries are and stuff.
You gotta kill it, man. That area grows some weed.
I love it here, man. I've grown some of the best outdoor I've grown in a long fucking time here, Kev. I'm
I
telling you.
guarantee it, man. Southern Oregon produces some fire. It doesn't get the reputation, but the quality of the herb coming out of Southern Oregon is phenomenal. Just phenomenal. And you just get a selection because you guys have a higher base temperature and you have a higher night temperature. So, like for us, some of the stuff that comes out of Humboldt, you have to kind of open the population up and then sift it in that location. Oh, look at that shit. That's gorgeous.
That's my grape OG. Outdoors, straight outdoors, all organic.
That does not look outdoors, man. That's beautiful.
Gorgeous. What time of the year is that? When did you finish?
I finished probably right at the end of October.
Awesome.
I was
Amazing.
lucky enough that year not to have the greenhouse up.
I've smoked, I think, his indoor stuff, and his indoor stuff is fire. Yeah, he grows really good cannabis.
Genetics, because I hang out with Adam at Archive and a bunch of other guys up here and stuff. So I have a large collection in a climatized building that I keep the collection in and stuff.
Yeah, we're still waiting for him to open that vault.
And I'm showing some this morning that I'm willing to share with everybody for a seed increase or whatever, bro. I can't grow them all in my lifetime, so
I'll have to come up there and visit you, and maybe we'll go fishing.
I just thinned out a seed collection and gave it to a friend, and I was just like, I said, I got so much shit that I couldn't grow it in fucking 3 lifetimes.
Yeah.
And so I said, let me just thin down. It's all shit that I dig, but like you get to a point where you can only do so much, and you realize it's better to get the stock into hands of other people to go fuck with and enjoy and work with.
Totally.
Than it is just to just hoard your fucking collection. Because if you were typically doing seed banking, you're doing germination tests every couple of years, and then every 5 or so you're doing a replenishment, so that you're always putting new stock in, and then you're holding it in a climate controlled space, and you have the seed at the right moisture level when you put it away. And that's something that is critical. What we're seeing is just you just got seed, but to preserve it correctly and hold it so that it has viability downstream is critical. And I was talking to someone last night that says, I want to do in vitro seed. I want to crack these in vitro. And I'm like, that's great, but just realize that it's expensive. And just because you have a jar of seed from the past doesn't mean any of it's worth a fuck. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's valuable.
Right.
Sand is fucking ancient, but it doesn't make a fucking antiquity. Right?
Right.
It's not rare, and it's not necessarily desirable. And so that's the problem, is that we have these new scientific tools, but it costs a lot of money, and you just opening up shit that somebody stuck in a jar, and it was from Uncle Bob, and Uncle Bob always had the kill. Yeah, he had the kill in 1978 compared to other shit that was around it. And so sometimes our memories are a little bit more friendly than the fucking truth. You know what I mean? I learned that when I watch movies that I liked when I was a kid, and I make my kids watch them. I'm like, oh, this was a great movie. And we're watching it, and they're looking at me like I lost my mind, and I'm cracking up. So I'm like, that is some lame ass special effects shit. And the acting's terrible, but as a kid, it was like profound.
Right.
And so, you kind of memorialize things differently. And it doesn't mean there wasn't incredible stuff. It's just the average quality was not there. You had to get into pockets where you had like dealers that knew. Like I got lucky as a kid. My neighborhood was filled with criminals. And
I know that feeling.
yeah, fucking filled with criminals. And so what you had was people who were able to touch a lot of drugs and be able to select the best shit out. So when I went to their house and they broke out a collection, they'd say, this was the best of the Thai from last year. This was the best of the Colombian. This was the best of the Panamanian. This was the best brown Lebanese hash. This was the best Moroccan red. This was the best black Afghani. And then you get to smoke it and be like, whoa, I got you. That's to you what was the best reflection from 1,000 pounds of weed that went through your hands.
Right.
And that way, like, that's why when I talk about it, people talk about the past. I'm like, no, my past was different. Everybody was a fucking felon trafficker. So it let me see it at a different level. But even then, when you compare some of the stuff from then to today, it isn't all better. There's some really good weed today, no question.
You know what? There's good weed nowadays, but there was weed back then that wasn't more than 13% THC or anything like that, and it kicked the shit out of you.
Oh, kill you. But it was because of the complexity of the cannabinoid matrix.
Yeah.
And we don't have that. We just don't have that.
I
Do you think that's from all the
That's what we're searching for.
population, from all the breeding, Kevin? Do you think that we don't have that anymore because of all the breeding? You know, I've heard a lot of breeders talk about breeding and losing the vigor from breeding stuff together, and they kind of bred the vigor out of some of the plants, like they lost vigor from breeding.
They do, but you lose vigor from having, you know, it's odd, but like in order to get a really vigorous plant, you need 2 highly inbred lines. And so the inbreeding process to fix traits is then corrected by outcrossing. And what we've done is we've taken plants that we're attracted to and we just fucking run them.
I got an old biker IBL from my cousin, like you're talking, you know, grandpa's whatever, they got you high. This stuff gets you high, but it's an old inbred line, and there's a few of us in here that are running it.
Yeah, but it's great for outcrossing. And so what we've done is it's kind of like, you know, the whole phenomenon with cookies, right? Like cookies to cut. It's that when cookies came in, it changed cannabis because we were in the green herb, we were in OG and sour. Cookies comes in, remember, because perp was earlier. So cookies is related to perp through the cherry pie. And you get into this new wave of cannabis where it has like nuggetry. It's got a fucking visual aesthetic. And it's a heavy, chunky ass plant. So that the original cookie was a good looking plant. And so it becomes popular. So everybody uses cookie. So there's cookie in everything. But so if I'm taking all these plants that are related and I'm putting them together, I'm concentrating these traits and I'm starting to really allow there to be a lot of inferior genes that we would have culled out in a process emerge. And because there's this idea that everybody's a breeder, and to me, we're seed makers. Like my mom was a research geneticist, right? So when I think of breeding, I think of people that are able to create a reproducible trait. Stable, reproducible trait is breeding. What we did is we did plant pollination subsequently for selection. So cannabis is filled with incredible plant selectors where we look at things and we choose outliers and we run them. But almost nobody was running straight seed except back like in 68 to like 78 from the old back to Landers and shit where they didn't have grid power, right? So they didn't have the ability to hold a clone. They had to work with seed. And what they would do is they would run their lines, but they would always outcross as well to bring in new things they wanted. And because of that outcrossing, you were always developing a semi-hybrid vigor. But once we got into the real drug war, it limited everything. And it started to really compress these gene pools. And when you take a look at it, everything's so fucking related. It's not funny. And the problem with it is that it just takes away from the plant's ability to survive on its own. It's kind of like having to net shit. To me, when the question came up the other day and someone said, what's your hypothesis on why some of these profiles have changed? And my hypothesis was that what we've done is we've taken plants that naturally produce compounds to either attract or repel, and we used chemical aids to help them. We brought in fungicides, growth regulators, pesticides. And as soon as you use those on a plant, the plant no longer produces the metabolites that it needed because it's energy that has to be expended, right? So I said, if we take something that had, like, the question was, why is sour diesel muted compared to it used to not being so muted? Why is it so not loud? And I said, more than likely because we used so many fucking chemicals on it for so long that each generation, the epigenetic influence of us doing this altered the plant. And after 40 fucking years, it's altered. And you can move them just like dogs. It only takes a couple generations to change an entire dog's fucking morphological traits. And I think with cannabis, it's not so much the food or the lighting. It was that we used all these things that got around good selection. So if you had, a plant that was PM prone, you didn't get rid of it. You bought Eagle because it's just what you did. And so how many decades was all these products used on all these plants? And each generation, subsequent generation, how many times do you have to change a plant by not allowing it to produce what it naturally does, to where it eventually just says, fuck it, I don't do that anymore? Because genealogically, the shit's the same. When you map that fucking thing, like when I get to I get to touch the tools, right? So I get to ask questions and say, map that thing. It's fucking identical. There is no change. It's like your DNA, right? There's no change. But the change is inside you, and that change is then subsequently passed to your progeny. So if I stress you the fuck out, I put that into your gene code, and when you reproduce, you bring that into your progeny. So that's where the idea of like generational trauma kind of comes in, where you look at Native Americans, you look at really anybody in America that's got fucked, because it's all colors, all races, everybody got fucked. But we would say there's some populations that got really fucked. So we would say Native Americans and blacks, where the blacks got brought over here as slaves and went through a fucking nightmare for hundreds of years. And the natives got fucking brutalized for 150 years. That trauma changes their DNA. And it is embedded in the children. And each time you reproduce under trauma, you're changing the DNA to be able to respond to the trauma and how it responds. And so if we know that's, and I'm not a geneticist, but I get to work with enough of them to understand that the basic premise is this fucking genetic memory that moves through time. So for me, I said, wait a second, maybe that's what we did with weed. Look at that stocky little bastard. That's maybe what occurred, that we started using too many adulterants. And because someone said, it was because we changed the food. And I'm like, no, it sulfur burners made the smell of skunk. And I'm like, no, the fucking thing smelled like a skunk, because it did. It's just that we lost the plants, and then everything we've touched in cannabis was, well, I would say 95% of all herb was chemically fucking adulterated. And I don't mean 3-part in the bottom end. I'm talking fungicides, pesticides.
So that's your puck red Lebanese mixed with a cheddar. Uh-oh, we lost him.
No, I'm there.
Oh.
There he is. He's back.
There we go. Yep.
Hey,
And
Kevin,
so,
what about triploids? Can you talk, are they more vigorous or potent, or is that just like something that people say?
No, they are. Triploids are interesting, because what you're doing is you're taking a gene. When I got into California is when I started hearing about triploids, and I met all these closet botanists that were using colchicine, and they were inducing mutation, and the induction of the mutation allowed the plant to be able to have a doubling of the chromosomes. And when you take that mutated plant and put it back on top of another plant, those extra chromosomes kind of dominate what takes place. And it seems like it has some interesting impacts on potency, resin content, and like morphology, size. And so you're seeing a lot of this work taking place right now. And it's a naturally occurring thing. If it happens in people, we die. So when humans mutate and have too many pairs of code, it doesn't work well. But with plants, it works okay. Oop, we're back again. And it allows you to do some interesting stuff. And so Trilogene, so I know Humboldt Seed's messing around, but I haven't checked any of this stuff. But like Trilogene, they're going heavy into it, and they're utilizing the mutation and then the scientific proving of the code change. And what you see is you're seeing some fucking abnormally sized trikes. And you're seeing maybe a 20, 30% increase in what we would call like volatiles, your scent components. So you're going to start to see some really interesting stuff. That's like the whole point of scientific breeding, is that it allows you to be able to look into the plant in a much more profound level and be able to kind of turn some switches on that get what you want. So if we like stuff that has like super loud flavors and super loud odors, or in the terms of like hash extraction, we want bigger glands, we want more glands, kind of like the work Schwale's doing online, where they're breeding for these like crazy fucking mutated tricheads, so that he's getting a much higher yield than average. That's just all what we call like scientific breeding, where you're, and then there's levels to it. So the more scientists you have in the room and the more fucking tools you have, the deeper you can go. But it's trying to refine material so that what you get is what you want for production. And if you were an individual that said, hey, I got a stable triploid seed stock, and what it does, it just gives me screaming loud flavor and really big trikes because I like to separate, that's a win. Does it mean it's going to replace every variety? No. And does every variety mutate evenly? No. So it's not like you can mutate anything. There's always the plant's a tricky one. So some genes, when you fuck with them, they automatically pull and tug on other genes. So you have genes that's like drag, which is stuff next to it. So when you move something, it pulls it. But then there's also genes that when you mess with them, they impact other things. So like use my eye color for an example. I have blue eyes. You might find that when you change my blue eye gene to brown eye, it also changes my fucking toe length, because these genes are linked, and they don't seem to be connected, but they are, because it's a complicated fucking mechanism. So we're just really into the dawn of understanding gene code. And with cannabis plants, we're just scratching at the door, because we were never allowed to look at it, legally. And it made it impossible for any scientific companies to invest in the research, because if anything happened, they'd lose all their investment. So that's really why you don't have any of these, that's why you don't have Syngenta in cannabis. You don't have Monsanto in cannabis. They're making so much fucking money in the thing they do, they don't need to be in. And they also can't afford the risk of losing the assets. So if they put a $300 million facility in, the federal government could fucking seize it. So for them, they're not here yet. But when they're here, they're going to throw a $2 million a day research budget at this problem. And you'll see shit that's going to come out that's going to fucking blow your mind.
Schedule 3.
Yeah, the Schedule 3 will open this up, and it begins this process. But the question is, do we ever get access to these plants ourselves to grow? And so what I got to experience a long time ago, like 2007, was when I got first turned on to tissue culture. And there was a professor at a university, and he was brilliant. He was in his probably like 30s at the time, but he had a PhD when he was like fucking 18. And so he was this prodigy super genius, and he had a container in his backyard that looked like an old fucking container, but when you opened it up, it was a state-of-the-art tissue culture laboratory. Wow. And so he and I hook up because I had access to all the material, and he had developed an agar solution that he was going to use for propagation, and he needed to find out what plant worked in it, because it was the beginning. There was no information. He did the first somatic clonal embryo seeds, where he took the encapsulated meristem with root and put it into a gelatinous fucking container. He was doing that shit in 2008. So right now everybody's talking about the invention, but I'm at his fucking trailer looking at it in his fucking house. This kid was brilliant. Oh, he was a nut, man. He had a full head of hair, but when he went on vacation for the summer, he'd shave it and his whole head was fucking flames.
Hell yeah.
Oh, he was just a nut, but brilliant nut.
Cool.
But it's he that turned me on to TC, and I was giving him nodal material so that he could figure out which formulation was worked for what, so that he could see like what was my replication rates. And it was a White Russian cut that proved it, where out of the 50 plants I brought in, only the White Russian worked in that formula. But it allowed me to understand what happens when the formula and the plant mash. What you get is this unbelievable reproductive rate. And so what I think is that you'll see the same thing. There's so many brilliant scientists out there that you'll start to see these guys working on the new science of CRISPR editing, the ability to access data, the ability to understand how to manipulate. And there should be some incredible shit coming out. And the thing that you have to remember with it is just maintain the source material so that you don't lose the ability to go back to the source.
Could you talk about the Puck Red Lebanese a little if you have time to do that? Or
yeah, no, we can go into a little bit.
Like where it came from. Was there certain things they used it for, or do you know any of that?
No, the Red Leb cut that came from Bam, but Bam got it from his roommate. As I talked to Bam about it, I said, "Where'd you get the Red Leb cut?" And he goes, "My roommate. My roommate had a Burmese and a Red Leb that were incredible, and he let me hold them, and I still have them." And he loved that Red Leb because he said it was the definition of a hash plant, because it literally had more trikes out on the fucking leaves and the stems than it did on the bud. Like, it was just meant for extraction. And it had a really interesting, like, cinnamon, exotic spice kind of aroma. So it was sexy, but it was just an absolute fucking hash dumping machine. And he has it. And then what he did is he let Bob access it, because they used to work together with the Coastal Project. And then Bob, he gets that Skelly hash plant, that old 88 centsy hash plant, and he wants to turn it into a seed form so people can fuck with it. But Bob's a really good breeder, and Bob has a breeding background in other things. So what Bob did is Bob did a line breeding project, and he brought in all these good hash plants, and he wove them back and forth trying to stabilize and develop. And the beauty of that is when you go into the line, because it's not just inbred, simple breeding, you get a pretty stable package, but you get enough differences within the gene pool to find flavor profile. So I found like deep, deep earth. I mean, like you're chewing on a bag of sand. And then another one that I really enjoyed was like a super floral, where stunning floral profile. And then you had like that Puck, which is that nasty, dirty basement funk. And then the Red Leb adds its complexity to it. But when I went through the gene pool, and I thought it was probably coming out of the Red Leb side, but really when I look back through the whole lineage, it probably came out of like the Purple Kush and some of these others, where the flavor that I like, which is like this Skittle cherry pie aroma on top of that Puck funk. And so what I did is I just got really excited by it because it smoked so good. And so I bought a bunch of it from him. And then I started opening up the package. And then because he'd only done a limited release and we're friends, I said, hey, let me do an F2 on it. And I'll pass out seeds to people so that they can play with the genes too, because you only did so many packs on the release. But I'll make sure that I'm not knocking you off. And I'll make sure that you get credit for the work so that people are steered back to your brand. And it allowed Bob to benefit from my position. And it let me enjoy the process of putting some really interesting genes into the system for people to hunt through.
So
but
is it okay that I seeded somebody
100%.
gave me? Okay.
100%. Yeah, no,
cool,
because I passed them out everywhere.
It was a beautiful little plant, man. It was just this stout, just bulletproof little plant, just nice tight nugs.
I passed them out everywhere, man. I spread those things high and low because I wanted, it was like I did it with the Afghani preservations too. There's just certain gene pools that are really good.
Myself, so
yeah, I get to go to so many different events, or at least I was going to so many, that what you want to be able to do is get people. A lot of it is money based, right? So the average person doesn't have a lot of fucking cash. They just don't, right? In real life, our fucking economy's fucked, right? So the herb economy's fucked, the economy's fucked, everybody's broke. And so when you're able to share genes that are worked, so like I go into them, I fuck around with them a little bit, polish them up, and then put them in. It lets people get some effort, but it lets them get it free. And then once I'm out of the free stock, I'm out of the free stock. It's done. but I try to give out as much as I can. What's that say? What's that box say, Chris? Oh, Terminator Bros, gold medal pastry. Ooh, I like to have some gold medal pastry. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I want some.
Yeah, my friend Corey, he sent this to me. It's from Philadelphia.
Oh, dang.
Oh, you got the good pastry, man. You got the good cheesecake and shit. I'm in California.
Yeah.
It's not as good.
First class.
No, yeah, this is Italian pastries. I've never had real Italian pastry, so I get to try some real Italian pastries.
Oh, you're lucky.
I'm
But
excited.
that was the essence of that red lead puck, was that I just got really infatuated with a very specific profile. And when I went through the population, so when I did the original open pop, it was, I want to say I did like 54 plants. So I did 30 females, 24 males. So it gave me a really, ooh.
Oh, dang.
Look at that tastiness.
Oh,
So the original population was big.
Better settle down.
You eat all that, man, you're gonna fucking have a heart attack. That's
yeah. You better do more laps at the pool.
Yeah, we'll be swimming all day for that one. But it's a lot of it is you got all these breeders that are really talented, and they put their effort into the work, and they don't get the recognition. And so I get lucky that I get to work with so many different people. And if I get to work with you and I know you, then I try to like publicize your work just because I can put it out into a bigger reach. And what it does, it gets more people to look back at you, and it starts to create this idea that all of us in herb aren't fucked. And so like, I don't care if you like me, you don't, because I can't control that. But the people that I work with, I care. And so by being pretty fucking stable and responsible with your people you work on projects with,
already.
They trust you. Oh yeah, no, the puck is there's some killer shit in there, and there's some really interesting directions you can go.
I found this one that was like Band-Aids and some kind of like chemical something. It's really nice.
I like the chemicals, man. The chemicals give me a screaming eye.
THC Garage right below me, he works with a lot of Mexican IBLs and Oaxacans and stuff like that, big time.
Nice. Oh, those are beautiful lines. And I'm glad you're working them too, because the reason why people don't appreciate it is because they haven't been exposed to it. And so what we had was this fucking anti-Mexican racist rhetoric that it just fucking killed the reputation, and it still lingers, right? And we're still xenophobic fucking racists in America today, and it fucks up believing that anything from anybody other than your neighbor is good. And what it does is it just keeps limiting what we do, and then we're trying to say, well, we do a better job, we grow better. I'm like, look, you can't grow Mexican better than Mexican because it's fucking adapted to that exact climate. It just matches the fucking situation. And what we want to be able to do is just recognize that the beauty of cannabis is that when you go to Mexico, you can go buy Oaxacan that is better than what you can grow in California. But when you're in California, you're going to get herb that shines in our higher latitude environment with a little more coastal influence. So it's not a competition on who's the best herb in the world to me. It's never been. It's about every region on earth produces some really good shit. And the goal for me has always been to go to all those regions and smoke all that shit. And then meet the grower, meet the growers and see how they produce and form good relationships. And it's not even about the genes. It's like I turn down so much material because I'm like, look, it's great to have it, but I'm not going to produce it as well as you are because my climate's different. And I would rather just know you than have your plant. I would rather be able to have the relationship than I don't need the fucking shit. I don't need anybody's genes. I don't need anybody's shit. I would rather have the friendship. That's what I need.
Right.
And so it's not, and people have a hard time understanding it because until you have as many fucking plants as anybody could ever touch, you don't care. You just become okay with it at that point. And you just kind of accept the fact that you're never going to produce Cambodian like Cambodia. You're never going to produce Zacatecas purple unless you're in fucking Zacatecas, Mexico. And it's you got to be at 8,000 feet, and you got to have them cold fucking nights.
Oh yeah, that biker IBL I got from my cousins, completely different grown in Sonoma County than up here in Redding. Completely different.
Yes, huge change. In Redding, Butte County, Shasta, phenomenal growing conditions once you match the plant. It's so hot that it's got such a warm night that it impacts the plant profusely in its development of profiles. But when you match the right plant, some of the best herb I ever smoked them out of Butte County, Shasta, all those areas. I knew guys that were doing Northern Lights in the 90s.
Oh, the trichomes start
insane.
melting at about 115. They start melting together. I've seen it.
The fusing, yeah, they fuse.
Yeah.
And the buds are like stone. If you could you put in a slingshot and shoot a cow and kill the fucking thing.
Yeah.
They're real.
Whatever happened with your skunk hunt, Kev?
I ran out of will. I hunted and hunted because I knew what I was looking for. And what I found was a ton of cool shit, but I never found, and it was funny because I had to defend it so many times. They're like, oh no, your memory is off. You're working off of things you heard. And I said, I had the collection. I'm the one that collected the fucking things. I'm pretty clear about what I had. And I wasn't like I was 5 when I did the collection. I was already a fucking grown man. I'm fucking almost 60, right? So like, I know exactly what I had. I just could never get it back. I never found it.
Dude, the last time I went through,
and I took a break.
I forget the name of the town. It's above Garberville, I think, or just before Garberville, where the Reggae on the River is.
Oh yeah, Piercy.
Right there across from the gas station, bro. I was like, oh my God, that's the old school skunk. And I looked over right across. There was a big old yard just full of it. And I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah, no, it's just, you get some of the odors because you'll get those volatile sulfurs, but when it dries up, you don't get that resonance. And the thing with the skunk was, it was something about where you could put a bag of it in your car and 2 weeks later, your trunk still smelled. If you had a bag of it in your fucking toolbox, your toolbox smelled. If you opened, I had a plant that was so volatile that when I was at the Raider game, we opened up the door, it poured out of the car. It poured hundreds of yards down the parking lot, and the cops we watched them. We turned around and ran at us. And I was like, what the fuck? And we got dragged out of the fucking stadium in handcuffs.
That sucks.
Oh yeah, it's all right. It wasn't the first time. But it sucked that it was that that you got caught because of the weed. But I was like, we don't have anything that moves 200 yards when you open a door.
No.
So we lost that volatility, and that's what I was seeking. And I had one that I got from Lawrence Ringo's crew that was an 81 skunk out of Salmon Creek, but it was way more like floral musky, not that sharp acrid skunk. And so, but it was when you cut a clone, it filled the building. Like if you were cutting clones, the whole building was fucking scented. But it didn't have what I wanted, which was the plant. What happened was I had a friend of mine and his buddy's dad was head of the drug task force. And the old man was, raiding fucking dope grows everywhere. And he brought in a thermos home, a plant to his son, who my buddy got from. And he said to his son, of all the years we've raided weed, this was the single best weed crop I've ever seen. So I brought you home a clone. And it was some of the most unbelievable that it would stand next to anything today. I don't give a fuck. It was brutally strong and grew. And people that I gave it to didn't like it because for the first 40 days, it looked like a stick. It just did horizontal branching. And then from like 40 to 75, it just exploded into these clusters of big giant bracts, almost like peas. But it had the single most pungent skunk odor on the best chassis of any of the skunks I had ever collected. So the drug task force guy was right. He stole the best plant from some grower that he'd ever seen. And we ran it, and I lost that in that raid. And that's really what I was trying to find was I wanted to find that king skunk.
I was hoping you would, man, because I kept watching.
I dug and dug and dug, and I got population shipped in, and I dug and dug, and people are digging all over the place for it, and I wish them well. I hope they find it. And it wasn't so much that, like, you're going to do anything. It's just that you wanted to publicize the hunt, because when you publicize hunting, it gets other people interested in hunting. And the more people that hunt, the better the odds are discovery.
Mhm.
And then you get all these fucking nuts out there. Like there was that fucking dude from Blue Sky, Vienna, right? He hit me up. Well, he hit me up when he first started, and he wanted me to help him push his product. And I'm like, look, I don't know you. And I tried to help him get into a fucking operation in Europe. And what he wanted was he wanted money and he wanted all kinds of shit.
Wow.
Oh shit! You know what? Hey, I gotta go. Oops. I unexpectedly have to get a document over to my permitter. So I gotta cut the conversation so I can go get this paperwork over to my permitter. But man, I just want to say thank you so much. And like,
All
I'd
right,
love to
thank you
hop
so
on here
much.
again and we can chop up some more shit. But thank you for letting me be on
Definitely.
today. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for
Much
Thank
coming.
you
love,
so much, Kevin.
Thanks.
Right
Thanks
on, brother.
for
Man,
coming.
good hanging out with all you
Yeah.
guys. And like I said,
Yep,
man,
yep.
hop another time, Chris. But thank you so much for letting me be
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I had a great time
Anytime
today.
you want to stop on by, you're more than welcome to. You're part of the community, and the door's always open.
Awesome, man.
So
Yeah,
Thank you
jump
so
on
definitely
much.
come
anytime you
back
want.
again, Kevin. We got some more
Come
questions
back and get
for
an
you.
update for
Got
the
some more questions for
Puck
you.
Red Lebanese.
Oh yeah, no, we'll break some out too, man. Ron, so
Right on.
great times, guys. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Peace and love,
You
brother.
too.
Have a good day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Blessings.
All right. And on that note, it is that time. I will see you guys on the flip side. I gotta get up out of here. I'm about to eat these
Yeah, say it. How do you
what
say it?
Corey said. One of these. I
Corey said he needs a
that
link.
one. The first one. The Sfogliatoli.
Eh?
Sfogliatoli. That one. All right. All right. I will see you. I'm enjoying my late birthday gift. I will enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Yes, that was what you call manifestation. Man, I am high off that red Lebanese puck. The manifestation. Yes.
There you go.
There you go. That's what you call that. All that. The power of prayer, the power of the ohms, the power that be.
Power of your
There
words.
you go.
Day 5,
Let's
get
go.
with THC Garage, bro, on that pack. I'll send mine to him as well.
If you want to support the show, this is how you do it. Go over there, support the show this way, that way, this way, that way, this way, that way. That's the way.
This is how you do it.
That's the way I like it. So that way right there. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Who knows? Might stop on by in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. All right, let's give a special shout out to those who contribute. Joe, Red Primo, Eric Chinchucker, Big John, Big D, ZVPT, PHC, Garage and B, Allen, Joe, Red Primo, Eric Chinchucker, Big John, Big D, ZVPT, THC, Garage and B, Allen. If you want to be one of those